football season, right? So, how about that? Doesn't think that it's that far away, but yeah, we're getting there. So, but we'll throw a little football chat in here too. So maybe dabble into that and such, and whatever the heck else is on your mind. You got a topic in mind that you'd like to throw out there. You got something that you'd like to throw out for a discussion. It's a little TGIF, a little open house party Friday. So throw it on over. Send it to us. All right. Text it on over or hit us up in the Section 105 chat room if you got a good topic to throw out there. Last night was a lot of fun at the Eau Claire Express. I know rain at the beginning kind of dampened a little bit with our tailgate Thursday, but we still had a lot of fun. Big shout out to our friends at the Card Collecting Club who showed up and handed out some cards for all the kids that stopped by. So big thanks to Brian and his brother for stopping by and hanging out and handing out some cards. And it was just a lot of fun running into a lot of friends and supporters of the program. John from AJM Automotive and his son Jared and such, and Brandon from Hy-Vee. We had obviously Craig from Toys and Ford, Josh from Park Ridge. It was just a lot of listeners too. So big thanks everybody for stopping by and hanging out, including our friends from the Blue Golds too. Got to give a shout out to the Blue Golds. So it was a good night last night. Express picking up a walk-off victory in Game 1. Did go to extra innings too, which they were playing 2 7-inning games yesterday. So, but able to pick up a walk-off victory in Game 1. Did fall in Game 2. The Express have the off day today, but they'll be back at it at Carson Park this weekend, where they're going to be taking on Thunder Bay. So, if you have nothing going on this weekend, head on over to Carson Park and take in some baseball, right? So, all right, that's kind of your game plan this morning. We're going to dabble into a little bit of everything here. So let's pitter patter and let's get at her, shall we? We'll take our first break and we'll get the leadoff going here, where we'll talk some baseball to open up things. We'll talk some Brewers baseball to open up things here this morning. Starting to preview this series between the Brewers and the Philadelphia Phillies in a stretch of games now that I think are I don't want to overplay it. I don't want to hype it or anything like that. But let's call a spade here. These are going to be some tough series, and these are going to be some maybe kind of benchmark series for the Brewers. A lot of season left. We're not even halfway through here, but you got a Phillies team that is definitely playing much better baseball than what they were, at the beginning of the season. And then after that is the Guardians. And then you got the Braves, which are probably the best team in baseball. And then you've got the Reds mixed in there, which, yes, they're struggling, but it's still a division team. And then the Cubs are sitting there waiting, too. And you know that the Cubs are wanting to get a little revenge on the Crew, right? So I think this is going to be an interesting stretch of games coming up here for the Brewers. But we'll take it game by game and series by series. So let's begin things here talking some Brewers versus Phillies. We'll take our first break, and we'll be back here in just a couple minutes with the leadoff. All right, let's get things going this morning here on the leadoff. Let's open up things talking some Brewers, shall we? Brewers having the off day yesterday, but now set to begin a 3-game series going up against the Philadelphia Phillies in Milwaukee. I saw probably a much needed off day here for the crew yesterday, too. So, after coming off of a series loss to the Oakland Athletics again, coming off the series loss to the A's, I mean, maybe an off day was just what this crew needed. But it's going to be a tough test with the Philadelphia Phillies coming to town. Tonight, the Brewers throwing up their ace, though, Mr. Jacob Mizorowski. And he's got a little bit of experience going up against the Phillies. And, well, some of the Phillies hitters have a little bit of experience going up against him as well. You're talking about maybe a couple of ABs for some of these players here. And honestly, I mean, this was last year, but a couple of these players have decent ABs if you want to kind of just take a look at just 2 at-bats. I mean, Bryce Harper and 2 at-bats is perfect with a home run against him. Trey Turner is he's got 3 ABs against him, couple RBIs, 333. So, I mean, that's kind of where you're at. I mean, Marsh has 2 career at-bats against him and 500. Sosa's 500. Stotts is 500. So, got a few guys in there that have a little bit of experience going up against Jacob Mizorowski. But I also think it's fair to say that, and it's something that we have talked about quite a bit, especially in the early parts of the season, that Mizorowski is definitely, I shouldn't say definitely because it makes it sound like he was awful last year, but there's been some vast improvements from Jacob Mizorowski's game compared to last year. I mean, he exploded on the scene last year for the Brewers, but you can definitely tell this is a different pitcher, more consistent, more mature type of pitcher so far this year with Jacob Mizorowski. So, but Miz, we know the numbers: 7.2, 1.50 ERA for him this year. On the flip side, the Phillies are going to be tossing out Andrew Painter. No experience for some of these Brewers hitters going up against him. And Painter so far this year, I mean, it's not great numbers. In 12 games, he's 1-7 with a 6.21 ERA. In his last 7 games, he's actually 0-5 with a 6.88 ERA. He is coming off of a loss against the White Sox where he gave up 6 earned runs in 4 2/3 innings. Before that, a loss against the Dodgers back on May 31st, 4 earned runs in just 3 1/3 innings. So, if you look at what Painter's done so far this year, on one hand you could say, well, he's probably due for a good game. Hate to say that, but his last win, you got to go back to March 31st. March 31st against Washington. That was it. That's where 5 1/3 and 1 earned run. He has given up at least an earned run in every single start this year. As we mentioned, he gave up 6 in his previous start on the 6th, 4, 2, 2, 1, 8, 3, 5, 3, 1, 4, 1. There's an opportunity here for this Brewers offense. A Brewers offense that we know doesn't hit a lot of home runs. We know this. We're very aware of this. Everybody talks about it. But they also know how to score runs. So there's an opportunity here for this Brewers offense. If we just kind of look at what Painter has done so far this year, there's no reason why, at least in my opinion, why the Brewers offense can't go out there and put up a crooked number or give Jacob Mizorowski some early run support in this game. So go out there and do it. No excuses. Miz, he's at that level when it's his turn as a rotation. We talk about this a lot when it comes to aces, right? It's like, okay, when you're kind of maybe in a little bit of a funk or in a little bit of a losing spiel, And it's that turn for that ace to make his start. It's kind of that stopper role, right? While you're just coming off of 2 losses and a series loss to the ace. Now it's Jacob Mizorowski's turn. Kind of that stopper role. So there is, I think, a really good chance for the Brewers to open up this series with tonight's game with a win. Get off on a good note. You got your ace on the mound, and you got a pitcher who has really been struggling so far this season. So, Brewers, go and take advantage of that thing. Go get it done. Looking ahead to Saturday, then, we've got Shane Drowan on the mound for the Crew. Aaron Nola, the veteran, he's going to be on the mound for the Phillies. Nola so far this year 3-4 with a 5.86 ERA. I think it's also fair to say that Nola isn't maybe the pitcher that he was a few years ago in that, but still, I mean, he's a veteran. He's been around for a while, and there are a lot of Brewers with a fairly sizable amount of experience against him. And actually, when you kind of look at it too, some really good numbers against Nola for some of these Brewers hitters. Contreras, 29 at-bats, has a home run, 276 with a 7.71 OPS. Christian Yelich, 39 career at-bats, a home run, 282 and a 7.62 OPS. Bryce Terang, 12 career at-bats, 333, 1.012 OPS. Frelick has 10 career at-bats and only 100 against him. Bowers, 5 career at-bats, 200. Jackson Churio has 5 career at-bats against him, and his average is 0.000, 1.167 OPS, though. And then, Gary Sanchez has a home run against him, 10 career at-bats, just 200, though, against him. So, I mean, you got your core guys with a lot of experience going up against Aaron Nola, whereas the Phillies pitchers, the Phillies hitters, they don't really have any experience. They don't have any experience going up against Shane Drowan. So if we take a look a little bit deeper into Aaron Nola so far this season, he's coming off of a no decision back on the 7th against the White Sox, where he went 4 1/3, gave up 5 earned runs. He's actually had back-to-back no decisions, 5 innings against the Padres back on the 2nd. Gave up 2 earned runs. Did pick up a win against the Padres on the 26th, where he went 6 innings, giving up just 2 earned runs. But it is fair to say that, Aaron Nola isn't the same Aaron Nola that maybe we saw from a few years ago and maybe one of baseball's better pitchers and such. So you kind of look at this and you look at what he has done so far this season. I mean, giving up 5 earned runs, 2 earned runs, 2, 4, 6, 3. Back on May 4th was his last game where he didn't give up a single run, and that was against Miami. If we go back to April, I mean, 6, 5, 3, 3, 1. So again, another starting pitcher who, maybe there is an opportunity for these Brewers hitters to put up some run support against Aaron Nola, especially when you consider in that a lot of their core guys, Contreras and Yelich and such, Terang, have good numbers against Aaron Nola. And I think that's going to be a key for this game on Saturday, is especially when you factor in that Shane Drowan is on the mound. If you could get some early run support, put up some runs early and give Shane maybe, I don't know if confidence is the right word, but maybe help settle things down a little bit for him. Because if you get into a tight matchup and such, then I think that favors the Phillies just a little bit more. But I think on Saturday, kind of a lot like Friday, there is an opportunity to score some runs in this series. When we look at Shane Drowan in 13 games so far this year, 3-1 record, 3.11 ERA. And he's coming off of a win against Colorado where he went 6 1/3 and gave up 3 earned runs. When we expand his numbers just a little bit here, I mean, the month of May, this guy, he pitched in 7 games. He didn't start any of these games, but he was 1-0 and a 1.72 ERA. He pitched just 15 and two-third innings total. He's already in 2 games in the month of June, a little over 10. So, I mean, he has a chance on Saturday to match or go over those innings from total innings from the month of May here. But a guy that the Brewers have put into a starting position right now because of injuries that have affected this pitching staff. And in his 2 starts in the month of June, he's 1-0 and a 4.35 ERA, giving up 2 earned runs and 3 earned runs in each of his contests, Giants versus the Rockies. But I think, the biggest thing for him is, not giving up the long ball, just kind of doing his thing. I mean, he is a very intense pitcher. If you've ever watched him pitch, he's super focused, super, dialed in. And I think, for Saturday, just make sure that the offense is going to go out there and give him runs because there's an opportunity. I really believe there is that opportunity to do that. So, and then on Sunday, especially when we see who is on the mound Sunday for the Phillies. Christopher Sanchez, everybody. That will be one where it will be very hard to score any runs on. We know all about Christopher Sanchez this year. 8-2 with a 1.54 ERA. There is a little bit of experience with some of these Brewers hitters going up against him. Now, Yelly actually has 7 career at-bats against him, and he's 286 with a 7.15 OPS. We've got Contreras on here, 6 career at-bats, just 167 against him. Cheerios 0 for 2. And you got a couple more. I mean, Perkins actually has 2 RBIs and 4 ABs, and he's batting 1,000 against him. So Rengifo, 5 career at-bats, is hitting 400 against him. So on the flip side, you got Kyle Harrison. That's going to go for the Brewers. And Kyle Harrison's going to be looking for a bounce-back game after his first game against the Athletics here. And, well, some of the Phillies hitters do have experience going up against Kyle Harrison as well. You've got Turner. He's over in 2 career at-bats. But, you look at Kyle Schwarber. He's got a home run, 3 RBIs, 667, 2.80 OPS against him. Bryce Harper, he's got a homer, a couple of RBIs, 400 batting average, and 5 career at-bats against him, 1.400 OPS. So there, and then Stotts batting 800 and 5 career at-bats against him. So Phillies are a little bit familiar with Kyle Harrison. I also think it's fair to say that Kyle Harrison, last time he pitched against them, he's a little bit of a different pitcher right now. But he is definitely going to be looking for that bounce back from the Athletics, from his game against the Athletics, where he just lasted 2 1/3 and gave up 8 earned runs. So he should be fairly fresh for this game, but he's going to have to be dialed in. He's going to have to be dialed into this game because it is going to be incredibly tough for the Brewers to try to score any runs on Sanchez. We really don't have to probably go through all the numbers here, but just as a reminder here for what Sanchez has done so far for the Phillies and what he's done so far this year. I mean, he's 6-0 in his last 7 games. He's given up just 3 earned runs total. I mean, he's coming off of a game against the Blue Jays where he went 7 innings and 2 earned runs. Padres back on the third, 7 innings, 1 earned run. This is a guy that's going to give this team some length in this thing too. I mean, this is his innings from his most recent games going backwards. 7 innings, 7 innings, 7 innings, 8 innings, 9 innings, 7 innings, 8 innings. Then month of April, 6 2/3, 5 1/3, 6, 6, 5, 5 1/3, 6. So since May, the fewest amount of innings he's gone in a game is 7. That is it. This is a guy that could give them some length. I think I think one of the biggest keys, if they could try to get to Sanchez, is again offense. If they could be, I think you got to be super aggressive against him. I think maybe more so than what you've done before. And this is a guy too who he's not afraid, and the Phillies aren't afraid to let him go over 100 pitches because what 1, 2, 3, 4 games in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, he's gone over 100 pitches, and there's even a couple where 97 and 96. So Brewers, I think, are going to have to try to be aggressive early on, maybe get that pitch count up, and maybe take some chances at the plates to try to make some runs and just make that defense play too. So that one's going to be a really, really, really tough game on Sunday for the Crew. So how do you think this one plays out for the Brewers? Where's your confidence level? Let's talk some more Brewers. Hit me up with some text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. We'll take a quick break. Back with plenty more, though, coming up after these quick words. So not to look too far ahead here, but because I mean this is a big series for the Brewers coming up here against the Phillies and such. But it, in my opinion, I think this is very similar to a stretch that we saw in the month of May for the Brewers, where they had the Yankees, they had the Padres, they had the Cubs on there, and it was on paper it would look like a really tough stretch of games for the Brewers. And while it's still June, I think these games are important for these tough portions of the schedule. They're important because after what happened after that month of May, it was like, oh, okay, the Brewers are for real. I think for a lot of people realized, maybe from a national perspective, it's like, okay, yeah, Brewers are for real again this year. Here they are again. It kind of solidified that, and also I think it's maybe for the Brewers themselves. Let's say they go out there and win the series against the Phillies. Let's say they go and win the series against the Guardians, and then let's say they win the series against the Braves, and they finish the month of June like they did with the month of May. Not only would that continue to maybe solidify their status amongst the rest of the league or the national talking heads, but what I think that would also kind of do, and we got a little bit before that, but maybe that would tell Matt Arnold, or most specifically, maybe Mark Anasio. It's like, oh, okay, here. So we just had another good month of June where we picked up series wins against the Phillies, the Braves, the Guardians, maybe the Cubs again. And it's like, okay, maybe we need to be a little bit more aggressive at the trade deadline. Maybe we need to do a little bit more at the trade deadline. What do we need to do, or who should we be bringing in, or who should we be targeting and such? That's where my mind goes to this. I don't know if that's exactly what they would be thinking, but you know, we've said it before in previous years. Make this team, the players, the managers and such, make this team kind of go out there and maybe force the hand from ownership or the front office to say, hey, make another move so that maybe takes us over the top, or maybe, inches us a little bit closer, increases our chances to get that, or to get to a World Series. You know what I mean? So that's where I kind of look at this too, is I want, obviously I want wins for the Brewers, but I think if they have another fantastic finish to this month of May, maybe it kind of forces the hand of the team. Like, okay, we got to take a step back. We've got a really good thing going here. Is there something we need to do to add to it? Or on the flip side, I guess the other way to maybe look at it too is maybe they don't want to mess with a little bit of that chemistry and such. So, there's a really good piece, by the way, on Brewers.com, Adam McCulvey, and he talks about the long-term contracts for Lara and Pratt and what they mean for the Brewers. And I thought it was an interesting quote here from Matt Arnold, because McCulvey asks the question, does it make things a little awkward for a handful of Brewers big leaguers who might be tempted to look over their shoulders? I think that's fair, right? I mean, Joey Ortiz or Garrett Mitchell, Sal Frelick and such. Matt Arnold said, no, I don't think so. I think the Major League team is playing exceptionally well right now. There's really good chemistry, and we certainly don't want to disrupt that. These are more long-term visions for the franchise and for the player. It's a great opportunity for them to be set up for the rest of their life, be comfortable, and just play the game. I get it. I understand that quote from Matt Arnold, but I also think players also realize what their future is going to be too. That's let's use the obvious example of Joey Ortiz. Let's say Joey Ortiz all of a sudden starts to hit really well, and he starts to play really well from the plate. Does that necessarily mean that's going to save his spot or his job for the Brewers after this year? No. And I think they know that too. And I think it's human nature. It's natural for guys in those positions to see those moves and be like, all right, my job, I'm not going to be here long term. I'm going to play the odds. Most likely, it's just not going to happen. They know that. Franchise obviously knows that. I expect Matt Arnold to say something like that. So I think, yeah, it's going to be natural for those guys to go out there. But I think the key quote that I took away from, or key part of that quote that I took away from Matt Arnold was he does mention the chemistry on there, and that is something that we have thrown out there. And if chemistry, what they view is, if Matt Arnold views chemistry, the team chemistry, as one of the biggest reasons why they're at this point in time, or why they're having this amount of success right now, does that make them less likely to make a move before the trade deadline? If team chemistry is a big reason why they think everything's just kind of working out and gelling and they're winning a bunch of games right now, maybe that's where we won't see a move, or a quote big move for the Brewers by adding one of those premier targets that could be potentially out there. And I mean, he's right though too. I think you look at this group, and chemistry has to be one of the biggest reasons why that they're playing incredibly well. We see it, we hear about it, we read about whatever. It's clearly evident, but maybe that also means that they're not necessarily going to be that aggressive at the trade deadline. I don't know, but all right, we are approaching the conclusion of the first hour already. First quarter is going to be in the books here. So, tell you what, let's take a quick break. We'll start to wrap up the first quarter, the first hour. We've got Dr. Crow joining us just past the 7 o'clock hour for a little inside the training room. So, well, I want to talk a little Tucker Kraft with him. Last week it was Micah Parsons and his recovery from ACL injury. Tucker Kraft, a little bit different. He says he expects to be ready to go week one, and he doesn't expect to be on a snap count, on a pitch count, if you will. So we'll chat with Dr. Crow about that coming up here just past the top of the hour. Also, we'll catch up with Mr. Brandon Berg. Brandon Berg will be joining us in the cave here, so we'll talk more Brewers with him, and of course do our local sports roundup and a bunch of other fun stuff like we normally do with Brandon and that. So, all right, let's take a quick break, and we'll wrap up the first quarter coming up after these quick words. Let's wrap up the last 7-8 minutes or so with a quick little green and gold chat here as the Packers wrapping up minicamp and their full offseason program. Rookies are going to be there for another week, but everybody else is excused here. So I know I'm overreacting to this, but apparently, as our good friend Rob Domofsky posted yesterday, yikes! At the end of the 2-minute drill, Trey Smack missed a 35-yard field goal wide left after LaFleur decided to kick it on 4th and 1 from the 17 with 20 seconds left in a 27-24 game. LaFleur then had Smack kick a 50-yard field goal, and that was good. I am going to be nervous again when it comes to the kicking game. I'm overreacting. I get it. I understand it. It's flipping June, Dan, okay? I totally get it. But, man, rookie kicker, I'm going to be nervous throughout the whole season. I hope it turns out well. I really do. I hope we have our next Mason Crosby. I hope I do. And I'm going to be optimistic about it, but I don't know if the older I get, if I can go through the stresses and the nervousness of kicking and field goals and all that stuff again. Again, overreaction. Totally get it. Totally understand it. But I don't want to get into a regular season game when we miss a 35-yard field goal. Apparently, Brian Kelly, if a lot of people were seeing this online, like, why was he there? The former Notre Dame and LSU head coach, Brian Kelly, was at practice yesterday. Matt LaFleur used to work for Brian Kelly, and Matt LaFleur's dad was an assistant at Central Michigan University, where Brian Kelly was at too. So obviously there's connections there too, but not quite sure what Brian Kelly was doing in Green Bay, if he was just visiting some old friends, or did he talk to the team at all, or I'm not quite sure, to be honest. But yeah, there was those photos out there, and I know we had somebody or some people were kind of questioning why he was there and such. So I don't know. I probably could just be something as simple as visiting old friends. I don't think there's going to be like a job or a role or anything like that. I could be completely wrong, but I don't know. So, all right. So, yeah, we're kind of at that benchmark now. We got another week or so of rookies, and then the next time we're going to see the full squad on the field. Training camp, end of July, next month, end of next month. It's going to be here before you know it, that quick. Feels like we just got done with the draft, but yeah, it's going to be here before you know it, man. It's going to go by fast. Summer's already going to go by fast, isn't it? Jeez. All right, hey, tell you what, send me your cream of the crops. You can text those on over at 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line. Or you can hang out in the Section 105 chat on our video stream and send us your cream of the crops. And while you're hitting us up with a quick text and a message and such, hit us up if you've got any topics that you'd like to throw out there. A little open house party Friday, TGIF, wrapping up the week. Let's have a little fun. Let's get a little crazy in that. So why don't, if you got something in mind that's on your mind that you'd like to throw out for the rest of the class, rest of the group, send it on over. All right. So again, best way, since we're doing the program here, is via text or hitting us up on the video stream and that too. So we'll get to those a little bit later on or throughout the rest of the program here. Again, coming up just past 7 o'clock, we'll chat with Dr. Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics, Sports Medicine, a little inside the training room. After that, Brandon will join us, and we'll get back to some more Brewers talk as we take a look ahead to this series against the Philadelphia Phillies. So we got that. We'll do some local sports roundup. brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. We've got state softball continuing today, and championship day is going to be tomorrow, but we got divisions, I believe it's divisions 2 and 3 in action for softball today, which includes, got to give a shout out to my Medford Raiders. They're going to be in action today for Division 2. So what time are they at? So yeah, Medford is the top seed. They're going to be Pewaukee going up at 4:30, and then Turner versus Valley Lutheran approximately 7 p.m. Division 3. We got Spooner that's going to be in action here a little bit later on this morning. They're the 4th seed. They're going to be going on at 11:30. So, but we'll get all the breakdowns and previews with our good buddy Mr. Brandon Bergen, recapping state track and field where he was at this past week too. So, hey, if you got any good last week, you guys did a good job when I was riding solo. So, if you got any more suggestions or good pump the brakes, full throttle questions that you want to throw out there for B and myself, that you guys did a really good job last week, send them on over. All right, you can send those on over if we like it, which I'm pretty sure we probably will. We'll put that in our pump the brakes and full throttle segment, which will be coming your way in the 8:00 hour. So, yeah, do that too. All right. Already 1 hour in the books, 1/4 in the books. Flying on through on this Friday of June 12th. We got some news updates coming up here in just a little bit, but then we'll kick off the second hour catching up with our good doc, Dr. Austin Crow. We'll talk some Tucker Craft with him. Last week it was Micah Parsons and ACLs and such. Tucker's a little bit different where he said he's going to be ready to go week 1, and he doesn't anticipate a snap count for him when it comes to week 1. Plus, we'll get his thoughts on Shohei Ohtani, maybe a knee injury going on with Shohei and such. All right, shot clock's going to cut me off. Quick break, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. All right, second hour, kick it off right now on this Friday morning. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your start here on this June 12th. We've got Mr. Brandon Berg, who's going to be joining us here in just a little bit. We'll do some local sports roundup with him, talk some more Brewers and such. We've got cream of the crop. We've got pump the brakes, full throttle. But let's begin this second hour like we normally do on a Friday morning. I believe we got him up, Mr. Dr. Austin Crow, Triple Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Austin, are you there, bud?
I'm here.
Oh, look at that. Jinx it, knock on wood. It worked right away on the first try, dude.
First time.
Oh, man. So, well, happy Friday, sir. Happy Friday. So,
You as well. You as well.
hey, I want to lead off. Last week we were talking about Micah Parsons and his ACL recovery. Now, Tucker Kraft talked with the media, Packers tight end Tucker Kraft, who also tore an ACL last year. And he said that he expects to be ready week one, no snap count and such. But I guess what I wanted to ask you was he mentioned that in his rehab, it was like, I think 6 months after his rehab, he was already running like 21.6 miles per hour and such. And I guess my question to you is, like, is that something that athletes kind of look at? Is that an impressive number? I mean, can you kind of put that in perspective for maybe us as the average Joes out there?
Yeah, I mean, certainly in that timeline, that is an impressive feat. I mean, that's obviously moving at a pretty good clip. The interesting thing is with ACL reconstructions, as we allow them to rehab inline straight movements, we allow them to progress relatively quickly because that doesn't put a ton of stress on the ACL graft. So that type of activity comes back sooner. So that's why relatively early on, they'll be doing like leg presses, and so people will see clips of people. I think remember when Lindsey Vaughn was recovering from her previous ACLs years ago. They'd show clips of her doing like leg extensions and leg presses early on. People are like, wow, it's amazing, and it is. But those inline movements don't stress it, so we allow them to do those early. What we really hold back is like cutting, pivoting, shifting, rapid change in direction, that stuff that puts way more torque on the ACL because it's really a rotational stabilizing ligament. So when you have that, running in a straight line, although that is impressive to be moving that fast, that implies that he has good strength in the leg, and that's obviously good to see. We at 6 months, that's where we're still like, is it great to be doing a ton of true hard cutting, pivoting, and that's what we're a little more cautious with. So it bodes well for his recovery, and certainly his timeline, of course, is different than Micah's because he tore his much earlier in the season. So you'd anticipate him back sooner. But yeah, I mean, I think again, on the whole, it's good to see a guy running with that kind of explosive speed. But like I said, it's not that side to side movement yet. But now, of course, given enough time, he'll get back to that as well.
For players who recover from ACLs, I feel like there's a narrative from fans like, well, that he won't ever be the same player, and not just Tucker Kraft, but anybody from an ACL, or they're going to be slower or anything like that. Is there anything to that narrative, or is that just kind of something that's floated out there from fans?
Both camps are right. If you look at, there's actually been very well done studies that look at return to sport after ACL reconstructions. And so there's still, I mean, I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but it's well into 80-90% where people return close to, or if not where they were at, pre-injury levels. That's not 100%. Obviously, you just didn't hear me say that. So there are some that don't. We've talked about this at length in the past. Not all ACL injuries are built the same, right? So you add meniscal injuries, you add cartilage injuries, you have additional ligaments that are injured. It really increases the complexity of the return. And so if you're talking isolated ACLs, maybe a small meniscal tear with it, I think the odds of them getting back are very high. You add multiple meniscal injuries or significant cartilage injuries, all of a sudden the forecast is a bit more gloomy. So there are times where people don't bounce back. So I mean, that happens, right? We see athletes that are not able to, but I'd say on average, people get back to close to where they were. Now, that if you really break it down, like, are they going to be truly 100% where they were before? That's a little bit harder to predict. I mean, I think even the athletes will say maybe my leg never got exactly to where it was before, but I mean, we were just talking about him last week. I mean, Adrian Peterson came back in an MVP season immediately after an ACL reconstruction. Now, that is obviously a, a rare event. But I mean, people are capable. I mean, the technology, the rehab, all of it's come a long way in what we do. I mean, historically, these injuries were definitely career threatening. Now, it's more, I'd say, career altering. And hopefully it's just going to be someday a blip where it's like, yep, I had to take a year off to do the surgery, rehab it, and now I'm back to where I was. And again, not a guarantee. So to sum it up, a lot of people get back close to where they were. Some don't quite make it, and some just have issues, and it ends their career, unfortunately. So you can kind of see it go every direction.
Moving to baseball, but staying with knee injuries, Shohei Ohtani last night was removed from the game for what they're calling left knee inflammation. Dave Roberts, the manager, said Ohtani experienced pain in his left knee and hamstring after a stolen base attempt. They're hoping that he's going to be able to play tonight, but when you hear left knee inflammation and pain in the knee and hamstring, is how, like, on a scale of 1 to 5, how concerning is that for you when you hear that as a doctor?
Low. I mean, not a typical area to have pain that's actually masquerading as something more serious. So, I mean, when you hear the word inflammation, that's definitely a wastebasket term. It's like, if there was fluid on the knee, concerning. If there was pain more in the joint, more concerning. So to be kind of in that behind the knee hamstring area, that's more likely to be like an irritated tendon behind the knee. And especially with a guy like him, they're going to have a very short leash and say, all right, let's give this a break. We don't want to turn this into a bigger problem. So my concern would be quite low. That doesn't have any of the hallmarks. Now, sometimes things that are reported to the press aren't exactly accurate, or not necessarily in a misleading way, but just don't come across correctly. So could it be something? I suppose, but for the most part, there was no big red flag statements like, oh, this has been a recurrent problem, or this is flared of a previous injury, or we see a bunch of fluid on the knee, or we're sending for an MRI tomorrow morning. I mean, those would be things where you'd say, okay. And it wouldn't shock me if he gets an MRI anyway, though. I mean, they people
Yeah.
the major league players, I mean, across the sports, they sneeze funny. Like, we should probably get an MRI on that. I mean, they're getting them left and right. So but on the whole, I think this is something she bounced back pretty well from.
This kind of reminds me, going back to the Aaron Rodgers collarbone stuff, and I remember him at one point saying, "Yeah, we're not going to do as many scans because that slows the recovery process." Is there any truth to that, or is that another Aaron Rodgers thought
No.
that's kind of weird?
Yes, yeah, that is an Aaron Rodgers comment. I mean,
Okay.
if you were, I suppose, like continuously CTing something, you might get enough radiation from it to affect it, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, and another thing too is like, again, this is just a perfect example. So, pro athletes are getting MRIs quite literally at the drop of a hat. Same thing. He has a fracture. We never see. I shouldn't say never. We rarely will CT a fracture to assess healing. I mean, because most of them heal correctly. With the pro athlete, you're trying to get him back like the day you feel like you have bony union, meaning the bones have joined together. So he probably did have multiple CT scans to see, like, is it healing? How's it healing? Um, it just, you don't routinely do that. So it's just interesting because it kind of changes the way you practice medicine when you're dealing with these kind of people. So I mean, in a lot of ways, I don't envy the doctors that have to work with these high-end pro athletes because they just get treated differently. And we don't have a study that says, well, yeah, the CT at 1 week should look like this, and 2 weeks and 3 weeks. We just don't do them. That's just not something that's routinely done. But they get treated in such a different way because their timelines are just different. I mean, every week out makes a big difference. Not that we don't care about a random patient that is going to miss another week of work. We care about every single person, but it's a little different when it's you know a playoff push, or NFL season where there's only 17 games. I mean, each week becomes so much more critical that they just get treated differently. So it's kind of an interesting phenomenon.
We actually have a text from a listener saying, "Good morning, gents. Always appreciate listening to Dr. Crow. I've got a quick question. Patrick Mahomes sounds like he's going to be coming back for week one. He tore his ACL late in the season. Now, I know you guys, excuse me, have said not every athlete is the same. Everybody heals differently. But Dr. Crow, have you heard of any studies done that where certain rehabs or training can elevate a player to return to the field quicker than most?"
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of research that has went into every level of ACL. So injury prevention, surgical treatments, rehab postoperatively, return times. So, and the answer is there's like things kind of all over the board. There are different techniques that certainly can provide a little bit of a boost, but I think in the end, there's a couple of different factors that come into play. One is the actual combination of injuries. Now, the interesting thing is that Mahomes had a combination of an ACL and a posterolateral corner injury. So he had two ligament structures that were injured. So that, if anything, you think would delay his return. Now, if you look at, now I realize he is a mobile quarterback, but he's different than, like, let's say a wide receiver or a rush end, where they're just going to be doing a lot of really hard, full body weight cutting, pivoting. Quarterbacks, especially if they stay in the pocket, and he may just have to kind of change the way he plays a little bit. I mean, just a straight drop back throw, there's not a lot of force on the knee. Now, you start scrambling, cutting, pivoting, that's certainly more, but even so, not to that same level. So I think his return is probably more to do with the position he plays. And also, I'm sure the surgeon feels like he's doing well. I want to say Dan Cooper is the one who did his. He's a surgeon down in Dallas, Texas. Um, and I mean, I would say it is surprising, the timeline of his, because his was a ACL and a posterolateral corner injury. I'm a little surprised, but yeah, I mean, I think they must feel like they have a good rehab protocol going. But to answer that question explicitly, is there you do this set of exercises, or you do this special thing, or you do hyperbaric oxygen, or you take get a PRP injection? I mean, there's not a lot of data that says this one thing is going to be superior to the others. I mean, it's clear that you have to do a good combination of getting your range of motion, getting your strength, get the swelling down. And there's a lot of ways to skin that cat. So there's no one clear cut road to recovery, but I think there's a lot of common themes between them all, but not one that's clearly superior.
This might be a stupid question from me, but when we talk about ACL injuries, a lot of people know who Dr. James Andrews is, and we've heard about Neil Atrash with the Achilles injuries and such.
Yep.
When a player, like you mentioned, because I think you're right, Patrick Mahomes, and I think he's like the Cowboys team doctor and such,
Yep.
and people were like, well, why is he going to the Cowboys, doctor and such?
Mm-hmm.
Is there this is going to be the stupid part. Is there different types of surgeries for an ACL that okay, a player's going to have that go to that doctor because he does the surgery this way compared to what Dr. Andrews does or such, or is it just comfortability, or what? Is there anything to, what I'm trying to say or try to ask?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, so are there people doing like cutting edge surgeries? No one else is doing? The answer is no.
Okay.
I mean, we're all doing. I mean, ultimately, the orthopedic world is not that big. I mean, there's only a set number of training programs, and those training programs within them only have a handful of sports medicine surgeons at each place. So we're all kind of learning from the same people. So, for lack of a better term, there's a lot of inbreeding in that. So we train from the same people, we work with the same people. So, you go see your surgeon here in Eau Claire, you see your surgeon over in, Wausau or wherever. Those people likely trained and have the exact same techniques as the guy who's doing them for the Dallas Cowboys. There's nothing that he does totally different. Now, some of the resources that they have as far as rehab and things like that, that's going to be more affiliated with the team. So that doesn't necessarily change a ton either. Really, it's reputation. And we actually had a very interesting talk. So Bob Anderson, who we've talked about numerous times, he's a famous foot and ankle surgeon who's now retired, but he was with ultimately at the end of his career was one of the team doctors with the Packers. He came and gave a talk when I was in residency, and he basically was alluding to the fact that the agents will kind of interject themselves into these situations and advocate. Well, I mean, advocate, that's what they're saying, but they'll say, hey, I'm going to get you in to see this doctor, and they basically are trying to like prove their worth. And he said they really kind of interfere with the physician-patient relationship. And he said it was a big challenge. And one of the things he disliked about being a professional doctor is the dealing with the agents. And so to that point, Patrick Mahomes gets injured. The Kansas City Chiefs, I'm sure, have an excellent orthopedic surgeon that takes care of him, but he goes down to Dallas, Texas. He says that happens a lot. He's like, often the guys go to different places because the agents will say, no, don't go to this guy. I can get you in to see the best guy, this guy. And so is Dan Cooper a good surgeon? Absolutely. He's a good surgeon. I wouldn't say anything negative about him. Is he doing an ACL reconstruction that's radically different than anyone else? Absolutely not. So, but you do the big name athletes. So whether it's Neil Elatrosh in LA, whether it's Dan Cooper in Dallas, whether it's James Andrews down in Birmingham, Alabama, I mean, these guys are doing the same surgeries, but they've just done them on the big name people. And people say, hey, James Andrews did Drew Brees' shoulder. It was a huge labral tear. He got back and had a all-pro career. Like, I want my shoulder done by him. That's how the reputation builds. And so the next guy wants it done with him. And again, I'm not saying he's not worthy of that. He did a great job, but then that reputation builds, and that's just how it works. And to a lesser extent, it happens in every community, right? There's the doctor who took care of so and so, and he came back and he ended up having a great high school or collegiate career or whatever. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I want to see that same doctor. And it's interesting how that builds. And so those guys are not doing anything different, but they're good at what they do. They definitely sometimes have unique resources as far as rehab because of who they're affiliated with, but ultimately it's the reputation of taking care of these pro athletes. And again, you get a couple success stories under your belt, and then all of a sudden you're the man, and that's just the way it works.
Would you say Dr. James Andrews was almost, lack of a better word, almost the first celebrity doctor in the sports world? Because I feel like everybody kind of knew who he was.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, well, ESPN had a couple big write-ups on him, and I mean, he built an absolute empire down there. So he was based in Birmingham, Alabama. He was a team doctor for the Washington Redskins. He was in D.C. I mean, he'd fly his jet. He had a private jet. He'd fly his jet to cover the coverage. He was the team doctor for Auburn and Alabama. So like rival schools, like how's that work?
Right.
But he was the team doctor for both of them. So I mean, he absolutely had that place on lockdown. And so and those are just like the big name. I think they cover like 13 Division I schools there. Now it's not just him. He has Lyle Kane and Jeff Dugas. So he has a couple of guys below him as well. Although those guys have now kind of ascended because James Andrews is, I think, more or less retired now. But yeah, I mean, ESPN wrote up a couple big articles on him, and that certainly put him on the map. But I mean, within the world of sports medicine, especially in shoulder elbow stuff, I mean, he was an absolute guru and came up with some different techniques, and again treated some athletes that had really severe injuries that historically didn't have good recoveries. I mean, Drew Brees, I already mentioned it once. I don't know if you remember him dislocating his shoulder,
Yep.
diving for a fumble. He runs off the field with his shoulder dislocated, had a severe labral tear. And I mean, that usually is the kiss of death for a throwing athlete. It's still to this day people don't always recover. And he came back and that was early in his career. He ended up having obviously a Hall of Fame career. And so that's one of the things that really kind of pushed his name forward. And so yeah, I mean, once it kind of got into again, like ESPN writing articles on him, he became a layperson name. Yeah, he's one of the few people that people are like, oh, do you know who that is? Or have you heard of him? Where people are coming to me and like, well, certainly I've heard of him. So yeah, I'd say he's the first one that kind of transcended into that level. But there's a handful now that, I mean, the biggest names are probably the ones I already mentioned. Rush in Chicago has some huge names there as well. And then HSS, which is in New York. I mean, those are probably the big mega like areas where they're just large hospitals have huge teams that take care of these high end athletes. And it just, again, it's the reputation that's built up, and again, they've earned it, so they've worked hard to get there. But they're not doing anything radically different than anyone else. But they've earned a spot of like, we are the pro athlete doctors.
Mm-hmm. All right, before I let you go, it's maybe this is going to have to be a weekly thing, but I want your thoughts on the latest comments from Kyler Murray over in Minnesota about splitting reps. He said, I was in Arizona for 7 years. I know I had two different offensive systems there, but at the same time, you're getting all those reps. Now I have to split these reps. It's me already being behind, not getting the amount of reps that you would typically want a guy to get learning an offense. That's probably the toughest part. Do you like hearing that from your new quarterback, Austin, or is it getting blown up a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I think a little bit of both. It's going to be, they do these, 20-minute interviews, and we'll take two quips and try. I mean, that's just the nature of the world we live in now.
Yep.
You got to find some controversy somewhere. It didn't seem like it's that inflammatory of a comment. I think there's probably some truth in it. It's like, look, of course, these guys are both going to be uber competitive. They both want the starting position, and to be the starter, you want the reps. And so, I mean, I don't think either one of them is anything that just is absolutely shocking, where it's like this guy clearly dislikes the other guy, or there's some real big animosity. I'm sure they're both looking at it, it's like, hey, you're my competition for the starting spot. I want the starting spot. Like, good luck to you, but I want to be the guy. And so I think you want to see that level of hunger and attitude of like, this is my spot, I'm going to earn it and take it. And so I don't think the drama's over yet. I don't think it's going to answer itself now. I think we're going to see this likely. I mean, I think well into preseason. I mean, it's possible they declare a starter before that, but I don't know. I mean, this may come all the way to the finish line, and it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I certainly want to see a fierce competition, and that drives improvements in athletes when they're in those scenarios. So hopefully, it's everyone rises to the top if there's that competition. But yeah, I think it's going to be, we'll see more and more of this, and it's just, I think, the nature of the competition.
Absolutely. Yeah, I honestly, I kind of just appreciate some honest answers once in a while, and I think that's an honest answer. So,
Mhm.
so.
Absolutely.
All right, he's Dr. Austin Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Dude, appreciate the time as always. Thanks for helping answer a couple listener questions too. So you have a
Mhm.
fantastic weekend, and we'll catch up again soon, bud.
Absolutely. Take care.
You got it. There you go, Dr. Austin Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. All right, let's take a quick break. Back with plenty more coming up after these quick words. Big thanks again to Dr. Austin Crow for joining us every Friday morning for our Inside the Training Room segments. As a reminder, you can, if you ever miss portions of those chats, you can check them out on the DK Show podcast. We got a few texts to catch up on here. Zach saying, good morning, Section 105, TGIF. He is going to the Brewer game on Sunday. Pretty excited to see Kyle Harrison pitch live for the first time. And, well, on the flip side, you're going to have Sanchez going there, too, for the Phillies, too. So not a bad matchup there.
Oh, a couple good lefties.
Yeah, no doubt. So we also had, we got to give him a shout out, I guess. Surveyor Sam with a cream of the crop text saying, cream of the crop is my mom because 35 years ago today she gave birth to him. So, well, at least he acknowledges the real hero in that situation.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
you know, I'm just, that's a kudos to Surveyor. Not that it's his subtle way of saying that, hey, it's his birthday and we should probably wish him happy birthday or anything, but yeah. No. Good job, Mom. Cream of the crop. We'll just leave it there. So, but that voice that you hear on the other side is, of course, our good buddy, Mr. Brandon Berg. After last week at La Crosse for state track and field, we'll get your take in that on here in a little bit. But always one of your favorite events.
I would say so. Yeah. You always go into it knowing that you're going to be very busy, but it's also rewarding because there's always going to be something going on. So yeah, it's just like some things where you go into something knowing, okay, I'm gonna have to work a lot these 2 days, but it's worth it at the end, and it was.
Yeah, definitely. So I know we got state softball going on. Has been going on for the past couple of days here, but continues today, and we'll wrap up with championships tomorrow. So we'll get to that for our local sports roundup, brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center, probably in the 8 o'clock hour and such. But I want to lead things off with you, Brandon. Well, I know it's been a couple days ago, but again, you were the first person I texted when I was on the golf course and I saw the Laura news, and I'm like, I need explain this to me, Brandon.
Right, yeah, and because you just texted me, and that's pretty much just how you said, like, explain this. I'm like, explain what? I kind of thought that's what you're talking about, but I was waiting, like, was there a picture you sent me that I never got? Or
So, all right, it's been a couple more days now, and we saw some of the numbers and such, but I kind of like the Cooper Pratt one. It surprised me a little bit. And I know we've talked a lot about Lara in the season that he's been having and that, but it still kind of surprised me because, my first thought was, who does he replace then? That's where my mind went. And, could it be Mitchell? I know Frelick's name's potentially being thrown out there and that, but first of all, I guess, how surprised were you to hear that they decided to lock him up?
I was surprised because it wasn't a name we necessarily maybe thought of, kind of like what you said. But, I mean, right now he's kind of become, I'd say for the most part, a top 100 prospect pretty much everywhere that, measures those things. So, I mean, in that way, I guess it wasn't surprising, but still, like, he wasn't somebody that if, we were thinking about, potential prospects, they may look to kind of lock into long-term deals. He would have been one of the first names on the list. And that's nothing to do with him. It's just, there's so many other ones I think that are just more on our mind than he's been. And, Luis Lara, I think maybe just kind of flew under the radar because he's, the way I kind of explained to you in the text is he's a high floor player, I think, because he's a really good defender in center field. I mean, I think he won a minor league Gold Glove there. So, that you're going to be getting really good defense. He's got speed. He's got, multiple seasons of 30 or 40 steals, whatever. I mean, that's his game. He's a switch hitter. He's not very big. He's only like 5'7" or something. So he's not a very big guy. I mean, again, the Brewers have a type, but this year at AAA, he's started to hit for more power. I think he's already got more home runs at AAA this year than he's had in any single season of his career so far. So I think they're also maybe kind of buying in a little bit okay, well, maybe this is really kind of his emergence, because that is a skill set that, even if the power never fully develops, but he is a defensive linchpin, a guy that you can park in center field and is going to give you elite defense with some speed on offense, and whatever you get out of the bat, it's almost like a bonus. And especially at the price, like that's certainly the kind of price that you can get good value out of, even if offensively he doesn't quite reach the levels that maybe they think he might right now.
Mm-hmm. So is it Mitchell? Is it Frelick? I know Matt Arnold just said the other day, not anything really. I mean, and then he's not going to say that at
Right.
this point. But if you had to wager a guess, who does this maybe not bode the best for?
Well, I think the thing that is unique about the situation is I don't think he's going to get called up unless there is a clear pathway for him to play every day.
Right.
So I know there's probably some people thinking, well, why don't you call him up and send Blake Perkins down? It's like, but you're not going to call him up just to sit. Like, it does. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, the spot Blake Perkins is in now, where he doesn't play very much, but he also hasn't really produced much offensively. So, but you can do that with a guy who is 30 years old. I forget how old Blake is, but like he's a veteran. Like he's still not in necessarily development time where Luis Lara is. Now, when that time comes, that's it's an interesting question because I believe Garrett Mitchell is further along in his service time. So I believe he's going to already he's already in arbitration. So this is obviously something the Brewers are always going to be thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
And right now the best thing Garrett Mitchell can do to kind of help his case there is just keep playing, because obviously that's always been the bugaboo about Garrett Mitchell, just staying healthy, and he has so far this year. And it's the strikeouts are still there, but we've also you also see the dynamic nature of what he can do. Frelick is he is not having a good year offensively right now, but he's also someone that has done it at the majors, over multiple seasons. So I think there's maybe a little bit more of a track record there. So I think if it was kind of an either-or situation, I might lean towards maybe not being great news for Garrett Mitchell. But I also think that, Luis Lara only being 21, like this isn't necessarily a question that has to get answered this year.
And, the other part, it's a 7-year deal, but there's also 3 club options after that, too. And does that kind of maybe, because part of me, and I'm sure others were like this, too, it's like, well, if it's not this year, and maybe if it's not next year, the clock is ticking. But is there that little extra room because of those 3 club options after that, too?
Right, yeah. Yeah, if he ultimately is in a position where 7 years from now, the team is, kind of grabbing those obvious club options. It's like the Freddie Peralta thing, where Freddie Peralta kind of had those at the end, but they were so good.
Right.
He was so good that they're just like, okay, that's obvious. Let's do that. Like, then yeah, that's a no doubter thing. But I think even then, like the minimum money was like $30 million or 31. That's
yeah.
The Brewers are paying Brandon Woodruff $22 million this year, and I know obviously they're at very different points in their career, but like they're the odds of getting proper value out of a contract like that, I think, are pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but then you always look at it on the players' end too. This is generational wealth. Like, this is setting up your family and your family's family. So I never can bemoan when a player does this.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of look back at, I think Ronald Acuna Jr. one was kind of the big one where he was able to cash in early, and yeah, maybe he cost himself some money because he went on to be a MVP and all that stuff. It's like, but at the same time, there is a peace of mind when you're doing this and you're a young athlete that maybe from another country that maybe your fan you just know. This can also apply to people for obviously from here too, but like when you just know that your family is set up for life, it's kind of hard to look at that and kind of risk that and just say, no, we think we can get more, when you might not. Pro sports are kind of fickle that way. You can get hurt and then you don't.
Right.
So no, I think it's ultimately going to be a good deal. But again, and I also think the bigger picture here too is, I think you've got some owners, and certainly it seems like maybe the Brewers are one of them, that are kind of thinking that when it comes time for negotiations for the next CBA, that one of the things these team owners are kind of understanding that they may have to give up is the amount of control that teams have, as far as the length of contracts and stuff like that for like when people first come to the organization.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of understanding, look, we're going to ask for a salary cap, and, I think you and I both really think they should, but they also have to understand, okay, if we're asking for something big, we have to be giving some concessions too. So what are some things we can get? Well, and signings like this obviously show that maybe they're going to looking to kind of when they go through their negotiations, maybe put on the table that they're going to allow players to maybe hit free agency a little bit earlier. Maybe less years of arbitration, yes, years of the minimum salary, whatever it is. But and so maybe there's the Brewers are looking at this and saying, okay, if this is coming, we want to still try to find a way to lock in some guys because obviously this wouldn't supersede that.
All right.
That contract's still that contract. But maybe that's their way of kind of being able to lock up a few people that they know they can get at a more affordable rate now, and then that doesn't necessarily impact a few of those players if that change comes, which is very possible because they're gonna have to if they want that. I mean, we've already heard kind of what the Players Association thinks about that salary cap.
Mm-hmm.
At least from the initial the initial proposal that was made. There's gonna be a lot more work that comes in there, but obviously there's going to have to be a lot of give and take in there because that's what a negotiation is.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even think of it from that perspective, what you just did, because I was going to ask, is this kind of a sign from maybe how owners or teams feel like the salary floor, so they're going to lock up players and build that up, or how they view essentially what I was going to ask is, does this tell us anything about what maybe the owners or teams feel like this is going to kind of come out to? And I never thought of it from that perspective, and that makes sense. Maybe is it taking advantage of it right now? Well, yeah, it is, but still, I mean, it's smart.
Right. If they know that could be what's coming, because that's kind of what I've been thinking about is we know owners want salary cap, salary floor.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, okay, well, what are some of the things that maybe they can give up or give the players to make that a little bit more palatable for the players? And that would be one of those things. Maybe raising the minimum salary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I think it's like 800,000 or something right now. Maybe that just goes up to like an even million or something like that. But just like that's something that maybe gets more players on the lower end.
Yeah.
And I know the minor league is completely different. I think they have their own player association. But like, is there a way that's maybe you bump up minor league pay a little bit too?
Right.
Because I mean it's a lot better than it used to be, but still. And yeah, I think that's kind of the thing. Also, the other thing I took out of this is just maybe owners understanding, okay, we're not going to have these guys for 7 years or whatever it is. Maybe now it's going to be 5.
Right. Yeah. We got to take a quick break, but we got plenty more baseball talk coming up here. We'll talk some more Brewers as we get set for series against the Phillies coming up here. So we'll take a quick break. Back with plenty more coming up after these few words. Brewers getting set to take on the Phillies tonight. Jacob Mizorowski is going to be on the mound, and then we get Shane Drowan tomorrow, and then Kyle Harrison on Sunday. But kind of looking at this schedule, it's given me reminders of like the May portion of that schedule where we talked about it's, Yankees, Padres, and Cubs, and now you got Phillies who are playing way better than what they were before. Guardians, who are a first place playoff team, and then the Braves, maybe the best team in baseball at this current point. So I know it's June and that, but I think this is a big stretch for the Brewers in terms of, because I feel like May, and maybe I'm overthinking this here, but I felt like that stretch in May where they did a really good job, that almost put them like from a national perspective, like, okay, yeah, Brewers are legit again, sort of thing. And now I think they have that opportunity to do so again. But could they also kind of maybe force the issue, like if they win these games, hey, Matt or Mark or something, maybe we need that other piece here. But then I hear Matt say chemistry's really good. So it's like a volleyball back and forth.
Right. But you're right. Like there's almost, levels to it. And like you said, being able to do what they did in May, you're right. Like that probably, for a lot of people, for certainly national media, but maybe other teams in the Central went, okay, yeah, the Brewers are going to be there again, kind of a thing, because you get through that first month. We've seen teams before that get out to a really strong start and that just doesn't stick, and that was definitely possible with this group, but it's kind of started to round into form. It's for the most part, I would say, especially offensively, there's still some struggles there with consistency at the bottom of the lineup, but you're right, it's gonna be a fun time, and maybe those pitchers will just feel a bit better about going back to not playing in a glorified softball diamond. I mean, and then look, it was the same thing for both teams. Like my frustration with playing in Vegas wasn't because I thought the A's had some sort of unfair advantage. It was just that the idea that I'm pretty sure you and I have played in slow pitch softball parks that were harder to hit a home run in than the one in Vegas. So I'm actually really glad Mizorowski didn't pitch in that series because I don't want that to risk messing up his numbers, kind of like it did a little bit with Kyle Harrison.
That's honestly kind of where I was like going back and forth. I'm like, Miz, would that have been hurtful for him, or would that have almost made him even more if they would have?
Yeah, if he would have pitched really well. Like I mean, it's funny, and it's such a baseball thing that you see the first two games the starter struggle, and then Brandon Sproat, who has struggled for the Brewers as a starter, have his arguably, not really arguably, probably his best outing.
Yeah.
Like, as someone who has struggled with the long ball, it's kind of funny that's what he was able to do in that environment. I mean, that just again shows the potential he's got. But we're gonna have some decisions coming up here with sounds like Brandon Woodruff's pretty close.
Yep.
So obviously, where does he slot into? Look, Shane Drowan's pitched well in the other rotation too. So it's not that simple. I mean, if they want to move him back to the bullpen, I'd have no reservations. I think he's really good, kind of in that. Him and Chad Patrick, I kind of like in that combo middle relief / long relief role where they can go a couple innings if you need them to. I really like both of those guys in that spot. But if you just decide that maybe you want Shane Drowan to stay in the rotation because he's pitched well, I wouldn't. I couldn't argue that.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned Brandon Woodruff. It sounds like maybe the Guardian series he could be coming back. Haven't heard anything about Logan Henderson quite yet.
No, but it seems like it kind of just keeps getting pushed back a little bit more. Like you hear like, oh, maybe it's end of June. That's maybe it's early July. Maybe it's later in July. So that's just one where I think it's going to be a bit.
And maybe it's part because Brewers do have other options they can kind of get through and that too. So that could be part of it as well. But we'll talk some more Brewers, but we are playing a little behind here, so we gotta do a little catch up. We gotta do another break here to wrap up the second hour. Brandon just wants to watch Unsolved Mysteries in the background. So, but we're gonna take a quick break here, and we'll wrap up the second hour. Kick off the third quarter, the third hour. We'll do some cream of the crop and our AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes full throttle. We'll be right back after these few words. Just a few minutes left to the top of the hour. So again, we'll kick off the third quarter with some cream of the crop, and then we're going to go right into our AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. And then after that, we'll do our local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. And of course, it looks like it might be a little rain, but the Express have the off day today, a much needed off day after a doubleheader yesterday. They did split the doubleheader, winning in a walk-off last night in the first game. Of course, it was 2 games, 2 7-inning games, but the first game went an extra inning because it was tied 1 apiece, and then throwing error over to first, and that's what allowed the walk-off win for the Express. So, but good time again last night at the Express game. So a big thanks to everybody who stopped by and went to the game and got to interact with some listeners and some of our partners like AGM Automotive, Hy-Vee, Park Ridge, the Blue Golds. Some Blue Gold peeps were there. And the card collecting club too. So we got to get you to an Express game.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think you're going to have some more of these coming up in July, right?
Yep.
So definitely, I think I'll have to meet up there with you guys at some point. Cause yeah, definitely interested in doing it. So
yes. So hopefully it won't rain next time, so we can. I got some plans for our tailgate that I want to get going here too. So that should be a lot of fun there. So, but I'll save. I was going to bring up a Brewers topic, but I'm going to save it for our Pump the Brakes and in Full Throttle. So that's where I'm going to be. I want to get your reaction to it when I bring it up. A little tease.
Ooh.
A little tease. Hopefully I'll remember it. So, but we got the NBA Finals tomorrow. Stanley Cup last night. Carolina 1 win away, but NBA Finals, man, the Knicks, they just won't go away. I mean, that win the other night, you got to give them props.
Yeah, I mean, if you're San Antonio, I just don't know how you bounce back from that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, look, maybe they win the next one, but like,
they can't win 3 in a row.
Like, I just don't see how you, like, when you give up that big of a lead in that way, like, it's a younger team, so maybe it's just the fact that maybe they can be just kind of too young to know better kind of a thing. But like, that's just one of those games that you just don't bounce back from right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you're up 29 in the second half. Like, there was, I mean, I'm sure they've looked through every moment and wondered, okay, well, what if they did this? Or, what if, De'Aaron Fox didn't try to go up for a layup instead just try to dribble it out and get fouled,
right.
Whatever. I mean, there's so many of those in there, but yeah, I mean, props to the Knicks. They did not quit.
They didn't. So all you youth sports people, that's why your coaches say, don't quit.
As the great Chris Berman would say, that is why they play the game.
That is why they play the game. All right, shot clock is going to cut us off. So we've got some news updates, and then we'll kick off again the third hour with some cream of the crop. All right, so, and then AJM Automotive, Pump the Brakes, Full Throttle. That is a very interesting ad that we're watching over there. So, oh man! All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back here in just a couple minutes to kick off the third quarter. All right, the third hour kicking off right now on this Friday morning from the cave, Kasper Cave, Tanglewood Greens, brought to you by Tanglewood Greens. We got Mr. Brandon Berg joining us here too, so let's kick off the third hour with a little cream of the crop. Brandon, who are you going with? Your pick for cream of the crop?
I'm actually going to go with 2 if I can.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. First, I'm actually going to, this is going to go back to last week, and we'll talk about this obviously with track, but I'm actually going to go with the Bloomer girls track team. First, winning the team Division II girls team state championship, first team championship of any kind for Bloomer.
Nice.
So, and when I said, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but that's obviously just a tremendous achievement for Coach Carla Favilla and Coach Nick Schumacher in that program. So, and the other one, I'm going to give him a shout out because I'm pretty sure he's listening, but, friend of the show, multiple-time Kasper Classic golfer, Rocky, retired this week.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah,
Nice.
retired earlier this week, so he's got all kinds of time now for free time.
Well, then he should maybe improve his golf game so he can win a title belt.
Well,
right?
it doesn't get that much better. We don't need that much competition out there, but
So,
but yeah, so happy retirement to him.
nice. Yeah, those are good ones. I was just going to go with maybe the Knicks, but those are 2 good ones right there. So there you have it. Let's go with your cream of the crops. Mine don't compare to that. So well done. Well done. How about this? Because they played today, my Medford Raiders softball team.
Yeah.
Number 1 seed in D2 for softball.
Yep.
So, but hopefully getting it done and bringing back a state championship.
Giving Matt Fry plenty to write about.
Yes, exactly. So, all right. Do you want Surveyor's trivia question right now so you can think about it for a little bit? Since Brandon wasn't here last week, I saved your trivia question for this week. Brandon, can you name me the 10 Brewers starting pitchers with the best ERA in a single season? I will just say looks like, because I got your list, like Mizrowski doesn't count for this year.
Yeah, no,
so
okay,
nobody
that's
this year. And then I have to name the 10 Packers, quote, backs post-merger with the most career receiving yards.
Yours are always tougher than mine.
So he means like running backs or receiving yards, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Why are you? Thank you for acknowledging that I have tougher ones.
I do, yeah.
So
You have more history to play with, though, with the Packers. So
nice. Well, post-merger. So I mean,
well, okay. I'll need a pencil or something at some point to. Oh, there's one here. Never mind.
you got one. Okay.
There's one. I didn't see it over there.
All
So
right.
okay, yeah.
All right, Pump the Brakes Full Throttle brought to you by our good friends from AJM Automotive, who were also at the Express game last night and that. So, all right, Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. Brewers should toy more with Andrew Vaughn playing at third base like we saw the other night for 1 inning. Hey, it's getting you to think about it for a little bit. I looked it up. He did a little bit for the White Sox.
A little bit.
Second base.
I would rather see him play third base than the outfield. He played the player with the White Sox, and I mean
a lot.
And that was, I think, maybe part of the reason it didn't work for him there because look, I can give you an answer. I'll say full throttle, but like in spurts, I guess right now because obviously this team needs to try to find a way to get both Andrew Vaughn and Jake Bauers in the lineup. And they've done this before with maybe players playing on a position. I mean, we remember kind of the goal line package with Mike Moustakas and Travis Shaw playing second base. And that was obviously a little bit different time, different rules. I would be okay with them trying it just to see, because I mean, especially
you got to have those bats in, right?
And, and they're not getting production there,
right?
Like if you're going to be maybe a little bit squeamish on making a move right now just because you want to upset the chemistry, then that I think, and you're trying to figure out, okay, with what we have right now, how do we try to improve that? Maybe that's the move. Like I wouldn't be opposed to them, just giving it a little bit of try just to see.
Yeah.
Because I think we still think ultimately like you would much rather because obviously that would maybe then open up a spot in the outfield that, maybe if Bauers can play first, he doesn't have to play left field, which he's been fine in left, but I think we would agree that even with their struggles, like you'd still much rather see like a Sal Frelick playing more than, Rendifo or David Hamilton's got more shortstop here lately, but like that would probably be, I think people would agree that would kind of maybe be the preferred way to go. Like if someone has to play more, they would rather probably be like a Sal Frelick than a Luis Rendifo right now.
Right. Yeah, and I don't think Sal's going to be moving back to third like they did a couple years ago.
I
right?
mean, is that how long until maybe we get that hubbub? But I guess maybe if he was hitting a little bit better, maybe they would. But like,
right.
Yeah, that just seems like it's like the old like Ryan Braun playing first base thing, where like it would pop up for like a week and then it just would go away for another year.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm like full throttle on it too, but for the same reasons as you, not like an everyday sort of thing, and just kind of start off and maybe
Let's see how it looks.
See how it looks. But yeah, it was kind of weird to see him there, Terang at short, and then Rengifo over at second base.
Yeah.
So, but I think they somehow have to figure out to keep that bat in that lineup,
right?
With
and
Bowers,
because then you also got to figure. I mean, Yelich is going to be DHing pretty much every day.
Yeah.
So that's really not an option.
Yep.
So, and like I said, Bowers has been fine in the outfield, but I think you would prefer the coverage of maybe having a Churio, Mitchell, Frelick outfield.
Yep.
I mean, that's just especially defensively. There's just so much more speed with that combination. And hey, third base is just, or if you play first base, that's essentially playing third base versus a lefty.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, you're a little bit more focused on throwing than, covering that base, obviously, because you don't have as much action going to third base versus first. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah. I think you got to figure out different ways to get those guys into the lineup. So if that's the way to do it, that's the way to do it. But we'll see. All right, pump the brakes, full throttle. Cooper Pratt will make his major league debut before Lara.
Full throttle. I mean, in either of those cases, it's going to require a pathway to full-time play, and I think right now it's easier for us to see a pathway to full-time play at shortstop, which is they just keep getting not the greatest production out of shortstop.
Right.
So I would definitely, and Pratt's a little older. Yeah, I think that would be, full throttle on that.
Full throttle for me is too. Pump the brakes, full throttle. Has David Hamilton, would you consider that he did hit that quantum leap like Pat Murphy kind of predicted in the spring training season? Or is it still too early?
I would still pump the brakes on it. Like, he's definitely been better than he was last year in Boston. And I think he's a useful player to have on the team. I wouldn't say it's necessarily at this point anyway. There's obviously still more than half the year to go, but like at this point, I still wouldn't say that's necessarily quantum leap tier.
Yeah, improvements, but I wouldn't say quantum leap.
I mean, it's not to the point right now where we're saying, well, he should just play every day at shortstop and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't established. Like, I think he's a good utility guy to have. He brings a unique skill set with his speed and his ability to just lay down a bunt seemingly at any time. Like, that's useful. He's a major league player. He should be on the major league roster, but he's not someone right now I'm saying, okay, they got to find a way to play him every day.
Right. Let's switch gears because we're getting closer and closer. Pump the brakes, full throttle. You think Giannis is going to be a Miami Heat player next year?
Oh, right now I gotta say, like, full throttle. To me, it seems like that's the one with the most smoke to the fire as far as like, okay, this off, I'm sure we've all probably seen it right now, kind of like the listed offer that was out, that's reportedly out there. And I mean, right now you really haven't heard that from other, we haven't seen that kind of leaked out from other teams as far as, oh, this is what an OKC or a Boston or whoever is offering.
Right. Yeah. I mean, last week I was listening to Jim Ozarski on his podcast, and he made the kind of observation that it's pretty quiet. And if you kind of go back in history, that usually means for John Horson that something's happening, sort of thing. Like the Drew Holiday thing came out of nowhere. Dame came out of nowhere. Now, on the flip side, others could say, well, maybe that something's happening that they're going to re-sign Giannis, or I don't, I'm not going to say it's not, but I tend to feel now my Giannis-o-meter is back to where he's gone after this year. Because then you hear the other reports out there that Bucks are, operating like they're going to have 2 picks in the first round this year.
Right. Well, yeah.
And then I saw one where they want to trade up in the first round. And it's like,
well, you need ammo for that, and obviously they'd have to get some ammo from another move to do that. So
the other part is like, would they trade their 2 first-round picks? Say they trade Giannis, they get a first-round pick this year. Would you trade your 2 first-rounders to move up for just 1 this year?
Right. How far up can that get you? Like, I don't know how that, if there's like a trade chart in basketball, like there is,
right.
like in football, which over the years the Jimmy Johnson one, and there's other ones, but that one's generally held up pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, do you value a pick in the top 7 versus maybe like a 10th, and I think the Heat one was like the 13th?
Yep.
Like, would you value one slightly higher pick over 2 lower end of the lottery picks?
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. But I just, I've got this feeling we're going to find out here in the next week and a half.
Could be.
And I did see, too, that they could probably maybe not worry about this anymore, but there was one thing, too, that the Bucks wanted to wait till after the finals, just in case that the Knicks...
I would say, if the Knicks... And that was kind of the thing, too, where, like, I didn't really have a rooting interest in this finals. Like, that was something I had thought of, like, but I kind of... if the Spurs won, would that make the Knicks maybe a little jumpy at doing that? But I still don't know necessarily what they would have as far as younger talent goes, because that's pretty... it's a veteran-ish team. Like, would that maybe make OKC a little jumpy because, okay, well, the Spurs have arrived. Like, we're going to be battling these guys. We need someone to try to match up with Wemby. But right now, Knicks being up 3-1, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't either. So, pump the brakes, full throttle. Do you have any issues with Kyler Murray's comments about him not? I don't want to over dramatize it, but like not having enough reps and splitting reps with JJ McCarthy.
No, I don't. I would pump the brakes on that. He, again, and kind of like what you said with the doc, like he was just honest.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't honest, I don't think in like a destructive way.
Right.
He was just like, hey, I'm new here. I'm new here. It would be, I want to get as many reps as I can.
Yep.
And, and even like this week too, like not just with Kyler, but I thought even JJ McCarthy handled things a lot better this week. Like, he was flat out asked about like, the possibility of a trade. And he's like, this is where I want to be. Like, so no. And then this is, I'm still of the mind that, like, I think ultimately it's going to be Kyler Murray's job. Like, I know it's right now Kevin O'Connell can treat it as a QB competition because nothing is decided right now. I think once we get to, end of July and August, I think Kyler Murray is going to be the one that kind of takes control of that. But yeah, I can understand, his thought of, hey, I'm new here. I'm trying to get up to speed with all these guys. I would like to get more, you get more reps. That's,
Yeah, I view it as more it's honesty, but not like jerk honesty like we've seen from other instances and such, right? Where it's like, okay, that probably was better left unsaid.
Yeah.
Appreciate the honesty, but that was probably I think it's a little overblown, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's the NFL and it's quarterback talk. Those are usually two.
Everybody loves a quarterback controversy, right?
Especially in June.
Yeah.
Because what else is there?
Right.
As far as the NFL goes.
Exactly.
Obviously there's other things going on, but.
Yeah. So, but what else do we got here for pump the brakes, full throttle? Sorsby's going to play it down for Texas Tech.
What a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Just what a mess. Like, at this point he is. I'm going to say full throttle. He'll pay. I think he'll play at some point. Like, I don't believe he should. Like, to me, that's the cardinal sin. And, like, the follow-up from Texas Tech has just been look, we know why they're doing it. Obviously, they paid this kid a bunch of money to come and play for them because they're going to be a team that's a contender. But I think it is very disingenuous of them to try to speak about the situation, and it's always like he has a problem. Like, this wasn't he placed one bet one time. You see the number of bets he's placed. Like, this is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of bothers me that they're just trying to frame it as, well, it's a mental health issue, but also then just trying to say, like, basically he needs to play because it's good for his mental health. It's like, you can't use that excuse because that would, if you like, you can't use that excuse in other things to say, well, I did this and this is illegal, but I need to keep doing it because it's good for my mental health. Like, to me, for the school to try to frame it that way is just very disingenuous. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we know why they're pushing for him to play, and to frame it as anything else is, it's just dishonest to me. But, it's crazy to think how quickly Texas Tech has kind of flipped into now being this big villain.
Yeah.
We'll see how what the fallout is of, like, teams not wanting to play them and stuff.
Right. And that's where I'm I still don't think he's going to play it down. I just.
I hope you're right. Like, he shouldn't.
He shouldn't. He absolutely shouldn't.
And here's the thing. Like, I don't think Texas Tech should be punished for what he did before he got there. But at the same time, you can't have a player that commit. I mean, how long, for how long was gambling considered like the cardinal sin? Like, that's the thing you can't do.
Right.
You can't. And I also think you're opening up such a can of worms if you allow him to play, because then because then you have the precedent. You can have a kid do that, and then or something like that, and just say, well, Brent Sorsby played.
Right.
And then you have legal precedent.
And then, I think I saw 180 coach. It's like, how do you trust how the outcome of the games are going to,
And
play?
that's the thing. That's once people begin to question the validity of what they're watching, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Right. Right. So.
It's not a sport at that point.
Yeah. I know some people are saying, is this like kind of here's the downfall of the NCAA and all. Like, I don't know how much the NCAA is at fault for this though.
Because it's not the NCAA that made the decision. They just, for whatever reason, don't have a lot of power.
Right.
Like, I would like to see a list. How often does a local judge side with a local athlete in these things? I mean, we've seen this now so many times. You go back to in Alabama, what's the guy that tried to come back and play? It's like, it was a local judge that said he could play. It's like, okay. Has there ever been a local judge that said...
You're talking about the basketball one?
Yes, the basketball one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But have we ever seen an example here the last few years where, and then Chambliss, the quarterback from Ole Miss, similar thing, where a local judge, rules that they're able to play. It's like, okay. I mean, how are they not going to do that? Like,
right.
I don't know if there's any examples out there of the local judge saying, no, we're not going to let that happen.
Right. Yeah, I agree. All right. That is your AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes and Full Throttle. Let's take a quick break, and we'll talk some more Brewers. We got local sports roundup coming up here as well. Stick around. We'll be back after these quick words. All right, before we get to some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center, you want to do the trivia?
I think so. I've got 10 names here.
All right. I've got 7 in my head for the Packers, and I'll try to guess the rest of the 10. But post merger is the key thing here too. So
yeah.
You want to go first? Or you want me to go
I'll
first?
go first.
Okay. Then let me bring up because he sent me the answers for yours.
Yes, and again, this is Brewers single season starting pitchers with the best ERAs.
Yep.
All right, so I've got one. This the first name on my list. I'm almost positive is on this, and this is a fun one. I'm going to go with first of all the Big Daddy Jeff D'Amico.
Nope.
Really? Because there was a year it was like 90s. It was late 90s. He was in the running for the ERA title. So,
surveyor, you might want to look that up. Jeff D'Amico.
Yeah. Okay. Ben Sheets.
Yes.
Corbin Burns.
Yes.
CC Sabathia.
Yes. Number 1.
Yeah. Freddie Peralta.
Yes.
Brandon Woodruff.
Yes.
Teddy Higuera.
Yes.
And now those were the ones I felt pretty sure about. So there should be 3 left. Well, there's 4 left, but I have 3 guesses left.
Mm-hmm.
So these were ones where I kind of went a little off where. But Pete Vukovich.
Nope.
Which is interesting because he won a Cy Young. I mean, that one I believe, but like he won a Cy Young with the Brewers, but yet it wasn't like one of the best ERA years, which is interesting. Yeah, Cal Eldred.
Nope.
Okay. And my last one I have was Jim Coburn.
No.
Okay.
What Jim who?
Coburn.
Okay.
Is that how you say his name?
Well, he's got a Jim Longboard.
Oh no, it wasn't that. No. Okay, so who were they then?
So CC was 1 at 1. This according to Surveyor.
Yep.
CC Sabathia was number 1 at the 1.65. Mike Caldwell was 2 at 2.36. Corbin Burns 2.43. Teddy Higuera 2.45. Brandon Woodruff 2.56. Peralta and Sheets tied at 2.70. Bill Travers 2.81.
Okay.
And then Jim Longberg 2.83. Ben McDonald at 10 at 2.89.
Okay, because in the year 2000, Jeff D'Amico, looking now with the Brewers, had a 2.66 ERA in 162 innings. So it was a 5-WAR year based on Baseball Reference. So I'm like, that's why I was kind of asking you. I'm like, if there was a minimum innings.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that one would probably be in there. Because that was the first one I remember because it was such an out of nowhere.
I'm going to give it to you. So
yeah.
Yes, I'm going to give it to you.
Jeff D'Amico's on the list. So then that would give me
because
7.
You were really confident in that one too. So
super because I remember, and that was 2000. I thought it was late 90s. It was 2000. But like I remember going down near the end, like he was in contention for the ERA title, and being a Brewers fan 2000, that was kind of about the only thing there really was to cheer for.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he was 12-7 that year, 2.66 earned run average. Great year. The best year of his career.
Yeah.
By far.
All right, so mine was Packers backs, which I'm assuming he means obviously running back, fullback with receiving yards. Now, was this career? It's got to be career, right? Was it? Yeah, career receiving yards. Okay. Dorsey Levens.
Dorse the horse.
Dorsey Levens. Amon Green. Edgar Bennett. I'll go Aaron Jones. Ellis, Eddie Lee Ivory. That's 6. I'm trying to think post-merger. I don't think Paul Hornung and Jim Taylor would have been on there. Not Jamal. I'm trying to go through some running backs. Did I say Edgar? I said it.
If you didn't, I mean, that was honestly one of the first names I thought of was Edgar Bennett.
I thought I said Edgar Bennett. If I didn't, I'll throw Edgar Bennett in there. I'll just, for lack of time, I'll go Eddie Lacy, Brian Grant. I want to say Tony Fisher, but it's probably not Tony Fisher just because I remember him as a third down back. So I'm just going to throw that in there for time purposes. So I don't even know if that's 10 because I couldn't remember if I said Edgar Bennett first or not. So, but all right, we'll see what we got here. So, Do you want to do local sports right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
we can.
do some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. So let's recap track and field. I know there's a lot of athletes and a lot of teams, but you mentioned one already for cream of the crop, Bloomer.
Right.
Bloomer winning a team championship.
Bloomer girls winning the Division II team championship, first team championship of any kind for Bloomer in any sport. So obviously kind of the culmination of a great year. I mean, they won 3 individual state championships. Their girls 4x8 relay with Sierra, Aaliyah, and Briella Hartman and Sophie Strand broke their own state meet division record in their three-peat, so they won for a 3rd straight year, and they are within striking distance of the best time of all time at state. Within a couple seconds, possibility of going under 9 seconds, or 9 minutes. 9 seconds would be a heck of a 4x8. 9 minutes, which has never happened at the state meet for girls. So, but yeah, also Sierra Hartman won the 1 mile. Aaliyah Hartman won the 2 mile. A lot of other great performances. Grace Krejci, runner up in the long jump. I mean, just a bunch of them in there. So, but yeah, to me, and I kind of wrote a column about this earlier this week, it was kind of almost like a moment that's been building for a while. A lot of those girls also run cross country. They've had a couple runner-ups in Division II. Last year they were 3rd in Division I, despite their perennial fastest runner Sierra not running that race because she was injured. So like they had been kind of close in a bunch of things, and like for them to kind of see them break through in that way was just really kind of cool to see. But yeah, a lot of successful Carter Kuchko from Rice Lake winning the 1 mile and the 2 mile pretty convincingly. Lauren McCullough from Menominee setting a new record in the I believe it was the 1 mile, and then also bringing home the 800 Division I title. Then Saturday, the Menominee girls winning the 4x8. I mean, we had the three state champions in the girls 4x8 were all around here, with Menominee D1, Bloomer D2, and Cochrane Fountain City D3. So that's very impressive. Lauren McCullough is going to go run at Washington. I mean, she's had an outstanding career. Last fall won the state cross country championship with, I believe, the fastest time ever. Like, wow. But otherwise, that's a pretty young Menominee team too. That, I mean, cross country in the fall and track in the spring. I mean, they're looking at probably continuing the nice track record of success they've had here in these last few years. So
definitely.
But yeah, a lot going on. We got the full gambit when it came to state track because we got rain too.
There you go.
We had some rain cut us short on Friday night. So.
So softball wise, because state's going on right now, we mentioned it a little bit earlier in that. Medford's in there. I know Marshfield fell earlier on in the week and such, but so we got that, and then all the championship games tomorrow. Correct.
Yeah, today we've got and Mother Nature also wreaked some havoc. Yes, the last couple of days as well. So they had to kind of sprinkle some games around.
Because Spooner's in action today too,
yeah,
right?
Spooner is in action. Yeah. They play at around 11:30. They're the 4 seed. They emerged from the sectional, beating Prescott after Prescott rallied to beat Stanley Boyd. So, and they're the 4 seed. Yeah, they'll be taking on Lamira, which should be later this morning. But that's one of the division. That'll be the first Division III semifinal. Then later on in the day, you mentioned your Medford Raiders. They'll be taking on the Fighting Watts out of Pewaukee. So, winner there will get either Turner or Fox Valley Lutheran tomorrow for the championship. We've already got the championships in the smaller divisions. It's going to be Mineral Point and Johnson Creek. And Johnson Creek pulling off the big upset, knocking off Grantsburg. Grantsburg entered state as the 1 seed, undefeated. They beat McDonald in the sectional finals, but Johnson Creek picked up the 9-0 win. So it'll be Johnson Creek and Mineral Point. D5, the higher seeds both won. Belmont defeated Athens, and Elman Bancroft knocked off Blair Taylor. Great year for the Wildcats being able to get back down to state. They emerged from that D5 section from this area. But yeah, so Belmont and Alman Bancroft tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. That'll kick off the festivities for state. And then D1's still going on right now. I mean, they're in their semifinals. This morning you'll have both of them. You'll have Muskego and Appleton North, Hamilton, Sun Prairie. But yeah, those are still going on. But yeah, earlier this week we had state golf down in Madison. Right. You had strong efforts in D2 for both Rice Lake and Bloomer in the Division II boys field. I know Bloomer finished 6th. I believe Rice Lake was 3rd.
Okay.
But I'm going to double check on that. I'm going to get you the okay. No, okay. My bad. I'm trying to wrangle up all my stats here together and stuff. But yeah, they end up 3rd. Excuse me. Winnicott beat out Madison Edgewood in a playoff. And then also Division II individually, really strong effort out of Altoona's Elliot Skinner. He took second. Was right in contention there, shooting a 143, which is at University Ridge is very impressive.
Yeah.
Seymour's Vince Siegel won. He was 4 shots ahead of that, so setting a really good pace. But yeah, I mean, Elliot Skinner he had a fantastic spring. I mean, seemingly any tournament I was looking for results, and if he was there, he was at the top. So obviously he set himself up really well going into next year. He's a junior this year, so set himself up well going into the next year there. So yeah. And then Division III, as far as golf went, it was Kohler. Not surprising that Kohler has a really good golf team, right? But yeah, they beat out Prentice with a really strong effort on day 2. So Alma Pepin was 5th, Lady Smith was 7th, Leva Strum was 8th. They've had a lot of success in that sport over the years as well. So, and yeah, Division I, Hudson was 5th, and River Falls were 7th. They were the Big Rivers representatives here, as Middleton won that. So, and right now, I mean, we've got finishing up, we've got boys soccer sectionals, or girls soccer, excuse me, tomorrow. I think most notable from around here that are still playing is Rice Lake. They've got Rhinelander tomorrow in I believe that's Division III sectional. Yep. Last night it was the McDowell Regis Co-op fell to Washburn 3-2, but I mean a really good year for the co-op there. I mean, with a first-year coach, it really seemed like they were kind of playing well at the end of the year. They went on the road and knocked off Northland Pines to win a regional championship. So I mean, a really good year out of them. But yeah, we're getting down to it. That's we got baseball coming up early next week too. Say that was kind of we had sectionals a couple days ago. Division I, River Falls. They emerged out of the Division I section. They knocked off Hudson. They shut out Hudson. They one-hit Hudson. I mean, that is a fantastic Hudson team that won the Big Rivers and was, a powerhouse all throughout the year. But, River Falls shutting them out 4-0, then coming back and shutting out Menominee 1-0. And a fantastic run for that Menominee team and Coach Zach Sloviak. They won their first regional title since, I think, 1998. And then going and knocking off a really good Stevens Point team 4-3 in the sectional semis to reach, to get a game away from state for, that's, I think, going to be really invigorating for that baseball program to be able to make a run like that. They upset Chippewa in the regional finals. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it was a surprise to see 2 Big Rivers teams battling in that sectional final, but, maybe those weren't the teams people were thinking. But, that's the fun of baseball in the postseason. You get a lot of upsets. You get a lot of kind of unique things that happen. Now that River Falls team is going down to state, they're, I believe, a 6th seed for the state tournament, which starts Monday. Yeah, and they've got Kakana, but that's a River Falls team that's got some arms, and they've got depth in their pitching, and that's what it takes to win the postseason. You have to have multiple pitchers. So they'll be playing on Monday afternoon, but Division II, Somerset, that's actually a game I was at on Tuesday when they beat Wisconsin Dells. They were first time going to state since 2004 when they actually played the summer season. That was back when we had summer baseball. Oh,
geez. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, they're the 4 seed. They'll be taking on Pewaukee. They, that's a team that, that's riding some momentum. They played really well in sectionals. They're, the runner up in the middle border behind Altoona, who won the conference. So, Division III, St. Croix Falls knocked off Elk Mound. Couple Western Cloverville teams with great years. I mean, Fall Creek and Elk Mound, they met in the sectional semis. They shared the conference championship. Elk Mound won that before falling in extra innings in the championship game. Both the Crickets and the Mounders, I mean, they're still pretty young teams. Like those, they're going to be teams that come back next year, I think, with a lot of more experience, but also probably going to have some pretty high expectations, and rightfully so, because they achieved a lot this year with a younger roster. And then Division IV, I mean, Marshfield, we're going to have an Eastern Cloverbelt rematch in the state semis with Marshfield, Columbus, and Loyal. Half of that D4 field is made up of, from one conference, which is pretty cool. And they'll get the winner there gets either Potosi, Cassville, or Reedsville for the state championship. And yeah, that's a week from now. The only spring sport that'll be left going next Friday will be state soccer.
Wow. All right. We got, again, Express have the night off tonight, but they'll be back at Carson Park this weekend, taking on Thunder Bay. And then for a little football, the Eau Claire Axemen are on the road tomorrow, taking on the Nebraska Siege. So that's your local sports roundup, brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with plenty more coming up after these few words. All right, we are back, and we got about 15 minutes left to the top of the hour. We do have to play just a skosh of a catch-up, so one more break until the top of the hour here. So next hour, we'll get back to some more baseball talk and get set for Brewers and Phillies and all that fun stuff as we Brewers back at it after an off day yesterday. So we were talking a little bit about, I mean, for the college football aspect with Texas Tech, I don't think we seen anything that's like similar to that. I don't
think so.
I don't think so either. I mean, that's why it's kind of rare territory, right? I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. I guess we're just kind of in a wait and see moment at this point, aren't we?
Pretty much.
When it comes to this, so, but I still don't think he's gonna. Like, okay, so the thing is, with teams threatening not to play them, you know what's gonna happen? Those take them to court then again, and that's going to get. I mean, isn't that what it's just going to go back to the court?
Pretty
Like
much.
Texas Tech is going to sue and do this,
and
do
that's.
that.
I think that's the thing that's also frustrating with this too. Is like so much of it is just like being decided in the courts,
right?
Which is just I don't think ever fun for anything, but
right, and I think that's the other part too, where if it goes, it's like what's the authority that the NCAA has then,
right? Yeah.
Because if it's just
you just don't like something, and if you don't like a decision, you just take it to court. Then what's the point?
Mm-hmm. And I know we've seen other examples of this. I mean, the Brady Deflategate stuff and that. So I mean, that was going back and forth and such. But I mean, for the most part, that's a lot of that is collectively bargained in those, with the Players Association and such. And I know this might be a little bit different with college, but still, it's I don't know. I don't have a good I don't have a good example, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Right, there's no precedent.
No. And like you said, I don't really fault Texas Tech.
Yeah, but I don't fault them. I mean, I fault them for their response.
Right. That
I don't. But
that response
but
was,
it's not necessarily their fault what Sorsby did.
Mm-hmm.
But you still can't use that as an excuse to try to make him or let him play.
Right. There's almost the moral part of it that pops up, right? I mean, Texas Tech, would you just like, okay, yeah, you can't play, you violate, but I think that's out the window for a lot of sports now.
Sure is.
Whether it's pro or college,
right.
But I guess we'll see. We'll see how it plays
a couple
out.
months.
But hey, remember, he's not playing the first 2 games because of the suspension. That was, suggested and
as they're playing
to.
Abilene Christian and somebody else.
Right. Yeah. But all right. Tell you what. I know it's quicker, but we got to take a quick break coming up here as we start to wrap up the third hour, and then we'll get into the final hour here. So we'll save our Brewers talk, getting back into the next hour. So if you got a topic in mind or a suggestion or anything like that you want to throw out, let us know. Hit us up. All right. Text it on over on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Or you can hit us up on the Section 105 chat. That'll work as well. All right, we'll take our quick break, and then we'll be back to wrap up the third hour after these quick words. Got about 7 minutes left to the top of the hour on this Friday morning. Coming to you from the cave, brought to you by Tanglewood Greens in Menominee. This is the first time I've gotten to talk to Tanglewood Greens brand. Nice course.
Yeah, had fun when we went a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's if you like a kind of countryside, woodsy, I don't want to say necessarily middle of nowhere, but kind of is a little. It's nice and quiet out there.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, you're definitely not gonna have to worry about cars driving by and stuff like that. No, it was. I said, like you said, woodsy was nice. I mean, we lost some balls.
Yeah.
But no, good there. We got some food there once we're done. No, it's just a really good overall presentation, I guess I would say. No, it was fun.
Yeah, and I would say, challenging but not so challenging where it's like, okay,
It's frustrating.
I'm not going back.
Yeah, no, it's challenging but not frustrating.
Yeah,
Just
it almost looks easy when you're on the tee box, but then you know what I mean. Like a lot of those holes are like, oh, but yeah, you're right. So no, love to go back again and such. So
yes,
good time over there, and to everybody there too. I got to try the top tracer. I want to try that.
Next, get a little more time so we can do that next time.
For sure. Sweet cards with the GPS, something I'm not used to. We were having a little fun with that too. But big thanks to Tanglewood. Really awesome course over there too. So got a lot of good courses around our area. But we're
very fortunate.
For sure.
And that's the first time I'd ever been there. So now I can just kind of add another one to the mental Rolodex. I always feel like I can't get up to as many different courses that I would like to. And now I'm just going to add another one in there. Like, oh man, I really should go there again.
I used to, and I wish I would have kept up with this, but this was more something I did in high school. And I wish because I think I still have them somewhere. But every new course I'd go to, I'd keep the pencil.
Oh, okay.
From the scorecard. And I stopped doing that. So I wish I wouldn't have, because just be kind of cool to see all the different, keep track of all the different courses that I've played at and that. So kind of like ticket stubs, I still do that and screenshot them and that. But
I have a bunch, and obviously it gets a little bit tougher now, but I have a bunch of those too. And even and I mean, I've got them going back like a decade that I've just kept. And I this summer, that's actually I have a quote unquote projects list. And I think that's one of them, is I just need to find a way to put them all together.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I got my Packer binder actually right here.
Oh,
so
cool.
even now, everything's electronic. I'll just screenshot it.
No,
and
I
know they do I think the Knicks did a commemorative one. I'd still screenshot it because it's
Yeah.
And I think I got a Euchre commemorative one that's on that shelf there that you could type in where you sat and such. But there's. Yeah, I'd still prefer the old. I understand why they do it now, and that it is easier. And I would always have the tickets in my pocket, but I'd keep a hand in there because I'd always be afraid I'd lose them or something.
Yeah.
So, but I really wish I would have kept those pencils and for every course. And I know not every course actually puts their name on them, but
it would be cool to have.
Yeah, so I regret that, or maybe kept the scorecard, but maybe not keep a scorecard depending on how bad you golfed.
Right. Just grab an extra one, and then you fill in, I birdied this hole.
Yep. So, but, oh well, it is what it is. So, I couldn't even tell you how many different ones I've probably golfed at. Now I've probably lost track. So, but, all right, coming up next hour, we'll get back to some more Brewers talk and such. But somebody had mentioned, we had a listener, Joe. That was he's trying to do a stadium tour. This was last Friday, I believe. So he was out in Colorado for Brewers, and he said that's kind of their goal, stadium tour. Is there a baseball MLB stadium that is number one on your bucket list? Because you've been to Wrigley.
I would probably say Fenway.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun to go to Fenway, maybe sit on top of the monster. But that's the first one that pops in my head. Because Yankee Stadium is new Yankee Stadium, so it's not quite the same. Like I said, I've been to Wrigley. I would say from the historical reason that one. I mean, I've heard really good things about Pittsburgh. Like PNC. Just for it being a nice one. And maybe Busch, just because I think I'd be just excited to go to St. Louis just to get barbecue. But but I think Fenway was probably the first one that popped in my head, just from the historical.
I think that would probably be number one, but I agree with you. If it was an old Yankee Stadium, that would probably be number one.
Yep.
Which is honestly, it's kind of with all the history that place had, it's a little surprising they did tear it down.
Right,
and
they did that, and especially when we've seen Wrigley and Fenway that they've just remodeled or expanded. Like it is a little surprising.
It is, but it's kind of sad too. So, all right, shot clock's gonna cut us off in about a minute. So, hey, if you got a topic suggestion, it is Friday, so kind of chaos Friday. Send them on over. We're open for that suggestion. So. You can text it to us on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912, or again, hit us up in the chat on the Section 105 chat room on our video stream. So we'll get back to some of those coming up here in just a little bit, but we'll kick off the final hour here. After our news break here, we'll get back to some more Brewers talk, previewing this series with the Phillies. We get the Miz kid on the mound tonight, then Shane Drowan, and then Kyle Harrison for the series finale on Sunday. We'll preview all that coming up here in just a little bit, but we've got some news updates, and we'll be back after these few words. All right, it is the final hour on this Friday morning. Thanks for hanging out with us for these first 3 hours and such. Hopefully, we can keep you around for the final hour before you're off for the weekend. We're going to talk some baseball here in just a sec, but let me ask you, Brandon, how do you get pumped for World Cup? Is it like Olympics for you, or how do you approach the World Cup?
I mean, I'd say it's different as far as the Olympics go because I mean we've been fortunate where we've had some local connections in the Olympics recently. Obviously in the summer with Kenny Bednarik, and there's been some other Wisconsin athletes. So, and like I'm not the biggest soccer person, but I mean the World Cup it's a fun event itself. Even if there's you can question FIFA for a lot of things, but like and with it being in the United States and Mexico and Canada, like it's different when it's kind of here. And the thing I've really enjoyed is I like, and you'll see like photos or videos or whatever of like people from other countries coming here to watch the games and then just like experiencing different things of America. Like to me, that's really cool. Like, I'd seen a video yesterday. There's like a Scottish guy who went to like Buc-ee's down south, or like, and I was telling you off air, like I'm kind of bummed that there wasn't any World Cup activity in like the cities or Chicago or Green Bay, because I would love to see people from other countries just interacting with like Wisconsin stuff.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like that would just be fun to see. Like, and I think that's kind of one of the really cool things about it is it is a worldwide event,
right?
And to see, I mean, all of these people kind of here cheering on their cheering on their team and stuff like that. Like it is. I'm interested in it as an event, and so I'll be keeping an eye on Wisconsin. The United States opens up tonight, so but that's kind of what I'm more like, just kind of the human aspect of it.
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, if you want a little Packers connection, you got Antonio Freeman.
That's right. Yeah, and isn't he playing on the same field? I see, like
Soldier Field.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a cool story there too. But I mean, to me it's kind of like the Olympics, where I'm not the biggest soccer fan.
No, but I'll be cheering for the United States, obviously.
Yeah, and it's one of those that if it's on and that I'm going to be curious.
And it's kind of cool to see, like, is there like a Cinderella?
Yeah.
Is there there's a team like
Team Italy from World Baseball Classic.
Right. It's someone like that just makes a run that team maybe people gravitate towards, where it's like, well, I'm cheering for my country, but otherwise I would really like to see whoever this country is.
Right.
Algeria or something.
Yep. Yeah. No. So I'll probably tune in a little bit here. Probably have the double monitors on and such. So for Team USA tonight. So, but yeah, it's I guess I think I don't know if it almost is confusing, because I wonder how many people just like sports fans, maybe just like casual, like, isn't this the Olympics then? You know what I mean? Because there is the Olympics and then there's the World Cup, so it's kind of a double whammy, sort of thing. But
obviously they don't do it at the same time as the summer games, just because they're at the same time.
Right.
But you're right. Like, people may kind of put those two things together, but they're two very different things.
They're very It almost feels like it's the World Cup more important.
I honestly, I think it might be for certain countries, because for certain countries, like, soccer is the sport.
Yep.
And you're seeing, versus, like the Olympics, obviously, athletes and stuff, but, if you have an athlete that is from your country and, like, I'll just, for like the Summer Olympics and like, the 100-meter dash, something like that, whatever it is, like, you're probably not going to, unless you really know that person, it's probably not going to have the same connection as like a team that represents the country, kind of a thing, when that's your sport. Like, obviously soccer is gaining a lot of popularity in the United States, but I mean, we know it's still football.
Right.
Like, and that's why I think the World Baseball Classic is caught on too, because you are seeing more of this national pride for those teams. I mean, obviously we saw what it meant for Venezuela and the Dominican Republic, and were the Brewers that were on those teams.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of how I would say it. Like, I could see it being bigger than the Olympics for a lot of countries.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So Okay. I was just kind of curious where you were at on that. Brewers wise, they're back at it. The Miz kid. Going back to the last time we saw Jacob Mizorowski, picked up the win in that, but everybody kind of talks about the staring down Pat Murphy and saying, "No, you're not taking me out," sort of. And Pat Murphy talked about, that's his maturity level kind of growing and the confidence and such. But kind of almost a what if. Would you have taken that? We know what happened. He struck
Right.
out 2, but would you have faulted Murphy for taking him out of that?
I wouldn't have faulted him for it, but I like that he listened to his player. Like, you can't, it's one of those things where you almost have to have a safe cracker's touch because you can't be one way or the other all the time. You can't pull him all the time regardless of situation. You can't let him play, you can't give him a little extra rope all the time regardless of situation. But I thought in that instance, it was a good time for it. And look, obviously we know the result. I think he had 2. He struck out the final 2 batters he faced, so we know it worked. But I like that he gave a young kid in that spot that was saying, "No, I want to finish this inning." I like that in that spot. I thought it was a good decision to do it.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. I mean, managers all have to protect the players too from themselves.
Right. I mean, if it was up to a player, they would go out there and throw 130 pitches if they could.
Right.
So you have to protect them from themselves, like you said.
Is that something you've noticed from this year? And it's a small sample size because we've only seen him for really 1 calendar year, essentially for Mizorowski 2 seasons. The maturity level, does that relate to his control and confidence and so, I mean, there's different things I think we've all noticed about Mizorowski.
I think it probably all works together. I mean, I am still very surprised at, you mentioned the control.
Yeah.
Like the command, like his ability, because all through the minors, like that was kind of the thing. That's why initially, it was kind of thought of maybe he'll be a bullpen guy because he just couldn't consistently throw enough strikes. And his command has been fantastic. Like we see it go away at times, but like that's that way with any pitcher.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I think that, and then the control, but that's also leading into like pitch counts aren't so high.
Right. He's pitching deeper into games.
Right.
It's not kind of 5 innings to throw 98 pitches.
Freddie Peralta.
Love Freddie, but yeah, the 5 inning Freddie kind of was a nickname he got a little bit for that reason, where there would be 1 inning where he would throw 30 pitches, and look, he would go through 5 innings and allow a run.
Right.
But still, like, I've said this on here before, but there's such a big difference between if you're a starter going 5 innings and going 6 innings. I know it doesn't sound like a lot. It's only 3 extra outs. But when you're turning the ball over to your bullpen and they only have to count for 3 innings versus 4, like, man, that's such a big difference.
Right. Do you think, too, that, so I've heard some people say that they're concerned that maybe Mizorowski is getting too many innings now, or but I mean, you can't say 5. I think it's more pitch count, right? Not necessarily maybe
and that's the big thing, because like if you throw 95 pitches and you go 5 innings, or you throw 95 pitches and you go 7 innings, you're still the pitches, yeah. If you're throwing more innings but you're doing it more efficiently, that's not a bad thing,
right? Is there a concern level for you with pitch count? Like last year, I could understand it because it was kind of an unknown territory in that. But
I think the thing that they're doing that I like that's helping is the way they're spacing out the rotation. Like they're giving the extra day, so you're not having a strictly once every 5th day really with these guys. And the off days help, but there's times where they've sprinkled in other guys to make starts, so these guys are getting an extra day of rest. And one obviously positive with that is that's also going to mean you're going to have a couple fewer starts on your on your body, as long as you're going through the regular season without getting hurt. So I think that's kind of a bit of a preventative thing, and that's something you can really only do if you have the depth.
Right. On the offensive side, Jackson Cherio is playing really well here as of late too. And earlier in the week, I had somebody ask kind of, do you think he'll get 25 home runs? And I'm like, is anybody on this team going to get 25 home runs? But now that he's kind of, I think he's got 6, so he needs 19 more to just get to that level. I mean, maybe now I kind of said no right away, but now if he continues this path, maybe. My question though is, he's been labeled since he has gotten here, as a future superstar. When should we stop saying future? It's kind of like the Bucks own the future. Well, when is the future?
Right.
Well, when is Jackson Sure? What does he have to do, or what is it that has to happen that it's not future superstar, and we take away the word future? Is it playoff? Is he got not playoff all-star? Is it
maybe it's that first all-star because he's done well in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like
does he need 30 home runs and 100 RBIs?
I don't know, because when you look at his stats, like his numbers are good. Like they've been good the first couple of years. I mean, I like that he's walking a little bit more this year. I think with him, that's always something I want to keep an eye on. But his numbers, and look, the age thing is still a thing. I mean, he's 22 right now. I think he's younger than Cooper Pratt, or he's at the very least the same age as Cooper Pratt. So, I think consistently doing it, like the power, the speed. I mean, we know his game. I just think it's continuing to fine tune certain things. I mentioned the walk rate. Being a little bit more patient. He's still a guy that'll kind of can get himself out at times, but I think you just do it. Like the longer he's doing it at a certain level and kind of upping that game, that's what you're looking for. Like, obviously, with his prospect pedigree and the contract, people, probably or sooner than later are thinking like, okay, this guy's got to be a superstar. It's like, well, at the price he's going to get paid, even if he's just like a all-star, even if he's a guy that, I mean, I don't think they're very comparable, but like, even if he had a career like Corey Hart, where he was a multi-time all-star, he had some good years, he had some not so great years, but I think even that, like, you're still getting your money's worth. I think Churio's got a much bigger upside, but like, he doesn't have to be an MVP for it to be a very valuable player.
Yeah. Yelich too. I mean, it kind of seems he maybe not hitting as much power as he was last year, but the average is up and such. He is his career trajectory and the ups is an interesting one when you really look at it. I mean, when he came over from Miami, he wasn't a big power guy, right? But then 18-19 really spoiled us, gets hurt. And I know you've mentioned it a few times too. It's like, when we're talking about him trying to get back to form, we would just be happy if he'd get back to what he was doing with the Marlins and such. But it's been last year was power, maybe the average a little bit down. It's just been kind of all over the place.
Right. And I mean, the thing I'm kind of keeping an eye on with him is the strikeouts, because right now he's striking out just at 29%, which would be about the highest since 2020, which that was kind of a weird year for many reasons. But, that was a year where the power was kind of still there, but really the on base wasn't. So, but I mean, entering today, hitting 286, 356 on base, slugging, 435. He's been solidly, I would say, above average. Like, and for him, in the thing I kind of look at with Yelich, and I don't know, maybe I'm just weird for doing it, is getting him to the finish line. And by the finish line, I mean the end of his contract. 20, and that's after 2028. So he's got 2 years after this, and I think there's an option there, but who knows what will happen there. But like, so many times when you see players sign these long contracts, by the time you get to the end of it, they're not really productive, and you kind of expect that when you offer them that contract, that you're going to maybe get more value at the front end than the back end. So I mean, he's been, I would say, relatively consistent with what he's produced over the last 3 or 4 years when he's been on the field. And that's just kind of been it. Like, when he's been on the field more, obviously he's been more productive. But yeah, I mean, right now, I think he's just doing his job, which, for, a guy that's got some injury issues, that's 34 years old, like, if you're still productive, like, that's the big thing.
That's the fact that you just said 2028. Think about it, after this year is like 2 more years.
Yes.
That's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know if it's because it felt like Braun's contract, and Braun was like going on forever. And I would say Yelich is playing better at the back end of this contract than Braun probably was.
I think so. I mean, we can look at those numbers, but just off the top of my head, that sounds right to me. That
I'm glad you brought the contract up, because this was something I wanted to ask earlier, going back to the Lara thing. Is this the approach? And a lot could change depending on the CBA and players, whatever they agree to. But part of me is wondering, is this the approach that the Brewers are going to kind of do and not give long-term contracts to players who've established themselves? And I'm specifically looking at Braun and Yelich, because you can look at those 2 contracts, and like you just said there too, Did it work out for them? Would you say it overall was like a huge success? They kind of trailed off maybe at the back end. Is this something where because I think we can probably say if the Brewers ever do give a contract like that, it's probably just going to be to one player.
Right. And they work around it.
Is that going to be maybe a change going forward where instead of giving that, they're just going to lock up a bunch of younger guys in that? Could that be a philosophy change?
Could be. I mean, and they'll do it until maybe they get bit by it.
Mm-hmm.
But even because right now, of the people they've done that with, I would say the one that maybe they've gotten the least return on is Aaron Ashby. And it's not, and we know Aaron Ashby's been good, but like at that time he signed that, they were still expecting him to be a starter.
Right.
And I don't think that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And he's fine in what he does. So he might be one of those guys that he's good. He might just be a little overpaid because at the time he signed the contract of what they were expecting for a starter.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still productive.
Right. Is this a path, a philosophy, whatever you want to call it? Like, are you on board with this? Is this because it almost feels different too to go this route? You're going the younger route in that, but okay, then maybe we're not going to see the 1-2 year deals for veterans that we used to see in the past, like whether it was a Aramis Ramirez, for a couple of years or something like that, and just kind of, gone are the days of 1 year it's Alex Gonzalez at short, Uni Betancourt, and you're just kind of plugging that in too.
Well, I think the caveat with this too is just in general the farm system's got a lot better, so this is an option. There was a time where this really maybe wasn't an option because they weren't producing a ton of young prospects, where they kind of had to go that route because they just didn't have that in house.
Right.
When you produce that in house, then it makes it a little bit easier to just build from within when you actually have tools to build from within.
Right. Quick question from Mark. Both these activities, you can hold a beer in your hand. Which one would you prefer, cornhole or frisbee golf? I'm probably bags.
I would probably say that because it's been a while.
I don't know if I've ever frolfed.
I have frisbee golf. I liked it, but I haven't done it in a while. So I would just say for the fact that I do it more, I would go. I would agree with you. Good question.
Yeah, I maybe I'll have to do a little frolf in one of my new.
We've got some good courses. Yeah, we got some courses around here.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever officially threw a real legit frolf. I've done versions of frisbee golf where what's the one? I didn't even know it's a thing now. I don't know if this guy invented it when I used to play softball with him, but he would bring these two wooden, I don't want to say stakes, but poles, but thinner and that. And you'd have to, the distance between the two, a frisbee would have to fit in there. And then you put 2 red Solo cups on the top and try to throw it through, and then if it fell off, you'd have to go catch it. Otherwise, that was know what I'm talking about. So we played that at Rock Dam Campground, and if anybody's been to Rock Dam Campground, it's not the most cushiest place
Are you
to
saying
dive.
There might be rocks there?
Yeah, so there was some of that too. So
I've always struggled to throw a frisbee.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It would always
I've gotten better the older I've been. So
when I was in college, I had some of my friends they played ultimate frisbee a lot.
That is one thing. I've seen that at halftime at Packers games. If I was younger, I would love to try that.
It was and I liked the actual mechanics of it. I just couldn't throw a frisbee, so I didn't like to play because I would here's this person wide open, and it would be going right to him for a half, and then suddenly it would just skid off to the right.
Yep.
I would just feel like a boob.
Yep. But I've seen some of those, and I've seen I'm like, that looks like a sweet sport to play. The diving catches and all that.
They played it a lot.
I wish I was younger. But all right, we got to take a quick break. But back with plenty more coming up after these few words. All right, coming up. So when we're done with the program here in about a little over a half hour, we're gonna do a quick episode of the podcast, and well, Brandon, explain what we're gonna be doing. The trying to get the 82-0.
Yeah, well, because here's what I was thinking. Is if you guys aren't familiar, there's a game out there called 82-0, where basically you draft a starting lineup for a basketball team, and based on its stat algorithm, it kind of figures out like what would the record of this team be, and the goal is to try to get a team that is 82-0. My thinking, and obviously we'll be shooting for that, is almost like it's almost like a versus, and we like if we do like best of 5, like we each draft our teams, then we see which one it says was better.
Okay, yeah,
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah,
and
so
that way it's a fun way to kind of make it a little bit competitive. And
so I mean, you could be We're both going to do it at the same time.
Yeah, we'll both do it at the same time, and then we'll just kind of explain, okay, well, I mean, we can even just alternate because, I mean, it's not like we're picking from the same pool.
Right.
But we could just say, like, oh, I got the 90s Bucks.
Yeah. So essentially,
and then, it gives you a decade and a team, and then you have to pick a player.
Right.
And then you fill out your 5 lineup spot, 5 position spots, so you can't obviously have 2 people at the same position,
right?
And so players are only eligible at certain spots because that's the spots they played. But
yeah,
and there's ones like this for other sports. So I mean, we could do that too. Just we can do basketball day because this was the first one.
This was, yeah.
Because I texted you. I think it was
the most difficult one.
Well, yeah, it is. And last week I had texted you, because I had a friend of mine that just texted me that morning, and he
must have just popped up.
I think it did because
too,
then suddenly it was everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
And so, but yeah, we can do it because there's like football ones, there's baseball ones.
Baseball would be kind of fun too.
Well, and that was the one I kind of got into too. Like the one I saw, there's 2 of them, but one I really liked, but it didn't have pitchers, which was kind of hard because like that's part of it,
right?
But at the same time, like you also don't want it to be too lengthy, and that's part of the part of it too is you don't want this to go too long,
right?
But like basketball is the easiest one because it's just boom, boom, boom.
Yep. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what we're gonna do afterwards. Maybe we'll do like best of 5 or something.
Yep. I think that's or since it's basketball, do we do best of 7?
We could do. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we could do. Yep.
Do that since it's now best of 7 for everything. So.
Yeah. So yeah, we can do that. But yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. So that'll be up on the Man Cave podcast later on today. Make sure. If you could follow, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. And speaking of algorithms, it helps if you give us a 5-star rating and leave a positive review, like on Apple. You can even just say something random on that review. Just the fact that you could say, give a recipe or give your sports take, whatever. It just leave something out there. So if you've got a few minutes, that would be well appreciated. Look at that guy. That guy's got a Bigfoot costume. There it is. That might be the Bigfoot costume we get for the Kasper Classic too. Maybe. Look at that thing. Holy
if I wear a Bigfoot costume, will you wear a trench coat like Robert Stack?
Yes.
That'd be good for filming a scene.
It would be.
See?
100% it would be. So, hey, speaking of Kasper Classic, if you haven't signed up, you better get in.
Not much left.
Nope. Go to our website, sportstalk1051.com, and sign up your 2-person team. Just $90. And seriously, $90 for 9 holes and a cart and
for
a
2
meal.
people.
And so,
that's for a team of 2.
Yeah. So if you you and your buddy want to split the difference, it's $45 per person. It's not $90 per person. It's $45 per person.
It's per team of 2.
Yeah. So 9 holes, your cart, your meal, some drink tickets, swag bag,
some other stuff. Yeah, yeah.
And so this year's, I guess my gift to everybody is going to be a sweet 20-ounce tumbler. That's a baseball theme. It's like a white baseball, and it's got the red stitchings around it, but it's going to have our podcast logo on there too. So
it's going to come in very handy.
Yes. So you might be even using it that day.
You might be. You might be.
You never know. So, but get to our websites and sign up today before it is too late. So, tell you what, let's get back on track here on time. We'll take a quick break, and we're at the half-hour mark. We still got some picks. We'll do that at the back end and such. So, but maybe some final thoughts on this upcoming Brewers and Phillies series. Quick break, and we'll be right back after these few words. We got about 23 minutes to the top of the hour, so let's do some quick final thoughts. Brewers, Phillies, Kid tonight, Shane Drone tomorrow, and then Kyle Harrison coming up Sunday, but that's also the day that Sanchez is going for the Phillies. You've got Aaron Nola going tomorrow, too, but really, Aaron Nola is not the same Aaron Nola from a few years ago.
As someone that had him on his fantasy team for a while this year, I can attest to that. Yeah, no, he's he's had a really good career, but yeah, getting up there in age a little bit. So, but yeah, it'll be some really big names, I would say, just overall in that series too. I mean, Andrew Painter is a good young pitcher, former or top prospect for the Phillies. Him obviously matching up Mizorowski tonight, Drowan and Nola tomorrow. Then yeah, the big one Sunday, which is Harrison and Sanchez and Harrison.
I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I know Jason Stark had a piece this morning on The Athletic. It said that Jacob Mizorowski went through the numbers of Sanchez. He said, "Did you know Major League Baseball has never seen a series like Brewers Phillies this weekend?" So I have not got a chance to read it yet, but I'm kind of curious where it's got to be highlighted by Mizorowski and Sanchez.
I'm sure
with those two guys on there. So
it's a bummer that it just didn't work out where they could be going against each other on the same day. But I mean, the fact that they're both in the same series is still cool.
Right. I feel like the first two games there is a chance for the Brewers. Offensively to put up some runs against the guys that they're going up against. And let's be real, if they want to win the series, their best chance is probably these first two games too.
Right, knowing that you got Sanchez going to be pitching on a Sunday afternoon where generally at Miller Park, harder to hit.
Miller Park, how dare you?
I know.
It's just like Pat Murphy earlier this week saying the Oakland A's.
Well, they might end up back in Oakland.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, but we, anyone that's followed the Brewers for a while knows that American Family Field, you have the shadows and stuff in the early afternoon, which can make it hard to hit sometime, which I'm sure won't bother Christopher Sanchez pitching and Kyle Harrison for that matter.
Right. Well, and that might be the typical if the Brewers win their first two games, that lineup that sometimes we see might give this guy an off day.
The getaway day lineup.
Yeah.
You got Blake Perkins hitting cleanup.
Yeah. Right. So, but yeah, I think there is a chance for this offense to put up some runs against these pitchers, and I think that's going to be a big thing, especially like with Shane Drone on the mound tomorrow too. Give him some early run support going up there too. But yeah, it's a good series, I think, with two talented teams, but the beginning of a very tough stretch. But I think a potentially telling stretch for the Brewers too. Because, if they win the series to the Phillies and they win against the Guardians and they win against the Braves, and then they got the Cubs waiting there too with a couple series with the Reds. Let's say they finished off the month of June like they did the month of May, winning all those games against good teams. Does that conversation get louder? Should that conversation get louder that, all right, do we need to add another piece? Or, again, it goes to the chemistry. We keep hearing chemistry. You trade a piece, you're going to affect the chemistry. And I wonder, if they trade, does a guy like Garrett Mitchell become available because you've locked up Laura now?
Could be. And yeah, if you're a team, if you're a team that's looking to get younger, maybe that's going to have an opportunity for him to undoubtedly play every day. You might have interest in Garrett Mitchell.
Right. So, that would be something. I think that opened up the door now with the Laura signing. But at the same time, if you are in contention at that point, are you ready to call up a AAA player to be your everyday starting center fielder then? And
that's a question. And it's going to be you mentioned before, but it's going to be the balancing act of chemistry, but also you've probably got players there that are saying, okay, but we can also make let's make a run at this.
Yeah.
Let's go and get a move. Like there's players, I'm sure if they chat with Matt Arnold, they may not say in front of everybody, but if you're a veteran on the team and hey.
And we know players talk about that stuff.
Yeah, like this is a chance for us. Like obviously you don't want to be disrespectful to somebody that might be going out the door.
Right.
You're not going to flat out say, hey, trade that guy, but you may say, hey, if we have an opportunity to bring this guy in,
right,
we should look into it.
And I feel like if there is a clubhouse that can handle some team chemistry, like you lose a guy but bring in a guy, I feel like Pat Murphy in this clubhouse would be able to handle that.
I think so.
And I think that's honestly probably the least of my concerns.
Right.
with Kim. I don't want to dismiss it because I do think it's a big thing. We've seen the effects, Josh Hader.
Yeah, well, especially in baseball when it's every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but I think this is going to be. I'm excited. I'm nervous as a fan because it is against tough teams. But hey, if you one game at a time, and I know Pat Murphy's approach is every single game, 162. Every single game's important.
Win tonight.
But man, especially the Braves one, if they win that series against the Braves because it's in Atlanta too, that's just another notch on that belt, and it's going to be exciting to see. I don't envy Matt Arnold in a sense too because you probably I would assume you want to make a move, but then I almost compare this. I think I said it last week. It's like a savings account. You've built up your savings account with all this farm system, and then you're ready. Like, oh, do I make that purchase now that I have enough money?
Right.
But then I don't want to spend all my money because it's really nice to see that savings account built up.
Right.
And that's kind of where I approach.
Yeah.
Like, that's the analogy I could come up with because I remember as a kid, I was like, oh, yeah, I saved like $100. I don't know if I want to spend it, but I really want that game. But, oh, man, then I'm not going to have any money left.
Yeah.
But that's.
It's always, and kind of going off that, it's always easier to spend someone else's money.
Yeah.
It's always easier to spend somebody else's prospect capital.
Yeah.
That's easy. It's easy for us to say, if we want, they should go and make a run at Tarek Skubal or, whoever a big bat might be at third base or whatever. We can make the case. Yeah, there's going to probably be some intelligence in our thoughts, but we're also going to be more likely to want to do that because again, it's not our reputation on the line.
Right. And honestly, that's why I kind of chuckle when people get mad at when teams sign players to contracts. I'm like, it's not my money.
Right. Especially in like baseball where it's not like you have you have a cap.
Right.
You can, I think in other sports you can make maybe a little bit more of a stink because you're like, man, that could be going to something else. But it's like if it's because you understand there's only a finite amount that you can use.
Right.
In baseball, I mean, if I was a Dodgers fan, hey, sign everybody. I don't care.
If I'm a Dodgers fan, I really don't give a crap.
Not my money.
Yeah. So, and I don't even know like third base. I was trying to find some. There really isn't anybody out there.
No, like
from a power standpoint.
Yeah.
Not like was it Suarez last year?
Yeah, Suarez who was hitting a bunch of homers, but there's not that right now that person that's emerged.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, that's maybe something that also makes this a little bit difficult.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Because they're not going to go out and get a Yordan Alvarez, who's a left fielder DH. Yes, it would be awesome.
It'd be awesome, but I mean, yeah.
Then you got other decisions you have to make,
right,
at that point. But yeah, I haven't really seen. There's some infielders, but then they don't hit for power though, and that's the need.
That's kind of what you're looking for. Right. By the way, I mean, you mentioned Eugenio Suarez, and he was someone in the offseason we were all talking about. Not exactly doing well with the Reds.
No.
41 games, hitting 211. He's slugging 354, only 5 home runs on 163 plate appearances. According to Fangraphs, right now worth negative half a WAR, which is below average, which is below replacement level. So,
yeah. Did Caleb Durbin just hit 2 home runs in a game the other day?
He might have, but his numbers still were not good.
Yeah.
So, as bad as it's been at third base for the Brewers, like. The options that we were thinking, Caleb Durbin's in 210 plate appearances, has 3 home runs, hitting 204, 264 on base, slugging 330. He's worth a little above. He's worth a little bit above replacement level, just because I'm sure his defense is good. But I mean, so far the other options we were thinking of, realistically, aren't really doing any better.
Yeah.
So it's not like if they would have signed this guy and Eugenio Suarez has like 15 home runs or something.
Right.
So. But yeah, it's something that's going to have to be considered here.
Weird how that all plays out sometimes, right?
Maybe some of these teams do know what they're doing.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, and it's sports, and if we could predict actually what it would happen,
it would be
fun.
It would be fun.
So, all right, let's take our break, and we'll make some picks coming up after these few words. All right, here we go. It's the fun time now. We got picks. Oh, tickle in the throat. So let's, first, World Cup, USA tonight. Paraguay, right?
Yeah.
Paraguay.
USA.
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 USA. You know, before anybody yells, that is a reference to a movie, okay? Because I know I'll probably get messages saying it's not pronounced that way. USA Beer Fest.
Beer Fest.
Yeah, Beer Fest. So calm down. Just calm down, people. Have a little fun in your life. Watch Beer Fest.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Watch Beer Fest. I'll go USA too. So, NBA Finals. Do the Knicks wrap it up tomorrow?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say they win it at the Garden, and then New York goes crazy on a weekend.
Yeah.
Or no. I'm sorry. That
It'd
would
be a weekday.
no. I'm sorry. No, it would be early next week. My bad.
I'm gonna go Spurs too. I think they get one, but you're right. They're not gonna win 3 in a row. So, I'd like it to go 7.
I would too.
But I just I don't see it.
I think the NBA would like it too because it's pulling some good, big ratings.
It is.
This has been a good postseason for the NBA, and I'm gonna give a lot of the credit to being back in NBC, even though the finals aren't.
I would agree. Okay. Stanley Cup. Will the Hurricanes win on Sunday?
I'm gonna say no. I think from the start, this has had the feel of a 7-gamer.
I agree.
And I think it's going 7.
Yep, I agree. I picked Hurricanes last night, but I said I still think it's going 7, and good because these have been good games too. So
we've had some good playoffs here with some of these. This has been fun.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, you even go back to like baseball last fall.
Yeah. Well, and the World Baseball Classic.
And we've been fortunate here lately where we've had some really good high profile stuff.
We have been spoiled as sports fans, and let's not take it for granted because sometimes that's not the case for good games and good matchups. And yeah, it's been really good. So, all right, let's do baseball. And again, since it's Friday, we're picking series. Marlins, Pittsburgh.
I'm
gonna go Pittsburgh too. Seattle, Washington.
That is a town.
I know. I was good. That's why I looked up at.
I'm gonna go Seattle.
I'm gonna go Seattle too. Padres and Baltimore.
I'm gonna go Orioles.
I'll go Padres. Although Padres, they've kind of.
A little bit. Yeah, they were hot for a while.
Mm-hmm. Detroit and Cleveland. Cleveland. Although Scoople's starting tomorrow, I think.
Okay, so that's a shot. Cleveland rocks, though.
Yep, and it's at Cleveland. This could be a big series, maybe depending on whether the Tigers keep Scooble or not.
Right. I mean, that's a decision where if they decide that they're out, I think it's like CC Sabathia. You make that trade earlier on to try to maximize the value.
Right. Oh, go. Ooh, that is kind of creepy.
He's looking at the
Unsolved Mysteries.
Unsolved Mysteries going on the TV.
What is
it's like a infrared.
Watch this. Oh, play-by-play. It's like an old video. See, what is that thing?
It's like a light. Yeah, look. It looks like it's just like a flash of light.
And yeah. Oh man.
It's a paranormal investigator.
Tony Dawson. Never heard of him. I know my fair share. I've never heard of him.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are we at? Texas, Boston.
Texas.
I'm gonna go Rangers. Diamondbacks, Reds.
Diamondbacks.
Reds falling.
They're below 500. They're letting the NL Central down.
Yep. Braves, Mets.
Braves. Funny story. The Mets have yet to play either the Phillies or the Braves. This is coming up now is the first time they're playing them, and they're that far back, and now they're actually going to start playing the good teams in their division.
Yeah. Well, Brewers and Reds haven't played yet either. So
it's unique scheduling that way, and then very backloaded.
Oh, this was a court ghost one. I remember that now. Okay. Nice. All right. Sidetracked. Yankees, Blue Jays.
I'm going to go Blue Jays.
Oh, Yankees. Dodgers, White Sox. Don't laugh at this series.
No. I'm going to go Dodgers, though. But White Sox are... That early season sweep of the Brewers looking even better.
Yeah, and credit to Pat Murphy, because what did Pat Murphy say after that series?
He said they were going to be good.
They're going to be a good team. Pat Murphy knows baseball. I'm going to go Dodgers, though, too. Houston and Royals.
Houston,
we have a problem, but I'm not this weekend. You'll win. So, Cardinals, Twins.
Let's go Twins.
Why not?
Yeah, let's go Twins.
Why not?
Twins.
It's at Minnesota, too, so I want to get back to Target Field. I like watching baseball at Target Field.
It's good. It's a nice stadium.
It is. I just like baseball. Going to Express game last night, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I need to go to more baseball games. But Tampa Bay and the Angels.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. Colorado and the Athletics.
Ooh, this is an interesting one.
Is this going to be in Vegas too? Because it's at Athletics. Coors Field wannabe?
I saw somebody referring to it as Coors Light.
Yeah, that's actually fun.
I'm going to go with the A's, though.
Yeah, I'm going to go A's. How about Cubs and Giants?
Ooh, Cubs are kind of scuffling. They won yesterday. I'm going to go with the Giants.
I want to, but I'll go Cubs. And then Phillies, Brewers.
I'm going to go Phillies.
I'm going to go. Gosh, Brewers should win the first two, but I don't. I say they win tonight, but then lose the next two. So I guess by that token, it's Phillies for that series. But hopefully we're wrong. I think we're both.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I just feel like their best chance is these two. And not counting on them to put up a few runs against Sanchez, even though I know in the last couple games
happens.
he has.
I know it happens.
Still,
he's due.
He is due.
But you could also say Mazeroski's due.
Mazeroski's due too. So
Due too.
Due too. So all right, that's your picks. I think that's we did World Cup and finals and Stanley Cup and good stuff.
We're getting down to it.
Because it's William Contreras bobblehead day tomorrow, I think, and my kid is bugging me.
Wants you to make a day trip down there?
I'm like, maybe I would say, hey, we could check on eBay, but people just
it's gonna be crazy, especially right off the bat.
Is that the first bobblehead this year?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Because they got the Brandon Woodruff one isn't out yet. That's the home run one.
Yeah.
Who was the other bot? Was there there's got to be at least three.
Yeah. I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no, we had the Miz. Remember Mizorowski earlier this one that they would not stop talking about.
Like the one like the card or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, good call. Good call.
With the fireball on there too and stuff. Yeah, it was Mizorowski. So yeah, because I think somebody dropped one off at work for him. So all right. Okay, we only got a minute left. So don't forget, we're going to record a podcast right after this, and we're going to battle to create the perfect 82.
Yes, using the 82-0 NBA team draft game. Fun game.
Yep.
We're going to compete in it.
Competition.
So a little fun.
Yep. All right, so that's going to be coming up here. So don't forget to follow the Man Cave podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And tell you what, we'll make the video of it too. So it'll be up on YouTube since everything's set up for it. So
we're already here. Might as well do it, right?
Yep. So we'll knock that out and get things going there, Sue. So have a fantastic weekend. Don't forget, Express is going to be at home too tomorrow. Not today, tomorrow. They got today off day, so you can go check out an Express game as they take on Thunder Bay tomorrow at Carson Park. We'll be back at the TDS Sports Talk Studios Monday morning, 6 a.m. We'll chat with you then.